I haven't. I wasn't even doing whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna just edit this portion out in the aftermath. But welcome to my channel. This channel is all about how I am going to build my channel up. It's not the channel that you are watching. I'm sorry, I'm working on my slogans, right? The channel that you are watching is not the main channel that I have. The channel that is on the screen behind me is my main channel. And my goal is to revive my dead channel and also grow and document the journey of me reviving my channel and also working to get to hit all my goals. I am so bad at this. I'm so bad at this, right? Or, you know, I need to get better at this. It's the right way to say it. I need to get better at explaining what it is that this channel is about. I need to get better at articulating a simple idea. So boom, the thumbnail should be up and everything as well. Everything is good. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, this live stream is strictly for explaining my plan on how I'm going to revive my channel, which is the channel that you see behind me. It's not the channel that you are on this, you know, you're watching this on, but the channel that you see behind me. It's me to, you know, explain the plan on how I'm going to revive my channel from the dead, and also how I am going to grow my channel and, you know, hit all the limits that I have ever wanted to do on my channel. And it's going to be in a way that not a lot of people are going to, I believe that a lot of people are going to appreciate, mainly because it's something that not too many people talk about. It takes a different take. And I've been taking a lot of time to think about, I've been taking a lot of time to think about how I'm going to actually go about reviving my channel. And I want to document it because, again, if I ever fall, I will at least have this information to kind of guide me to a better position to never fail again. And if anybody ever, you know, is in a situation similar to mine, where you have a channel that is growing to almost 20,000 subscribers, and for some reason you take a hiatus for a long period of time and you make content that is completely different, and then you kind of lose yourself and your purpose for why you're making content, and you start to get lesser and lesser views, and then you take hiatuses again and you just don't upload consistently, and you upload different type of content and your numbers are going low and low, and you're getting hit with the YouTube shadow ban, which isn't really, you know, an unjustified thing. It's just, you know, YouTube typically promotes videos that people want to see, and if somebody isn't watching your video because you changed up your video, you're obviously not going to get that viewer, and YouTube is going to suppress your videos from that person because they think that you don't even want to watch it because they haven't watched your last 5 videos, right? If you're ever in a situation similar to that, maybe you can come and see these live streams, and maybe I can break them down and put them on like a TikTok or something like that for anybody who is in a situation that kind of guides them to this live stream, and maybe they can take something from the plan that I have that I've been creating to get my channel back. Maybe you can take 1 or 2 things from it, and that'll be dope. But again, it isn't necessarily for you, it is for me. And if you can get some value for something that I'm doing and I'm putting out publicly, then that is exactly what it is. I'm saying that particularly for one of the main reasons, one of the main things that I'm going to be focusing on when it comes to my plan on how I'm going to get my channel revived. I say that because before, I used to think that it was so selfish for me to have something and then not give it, right? And what I mean by that is, like, if I have the ability to revive my channel and I, you know, give it out, that's a different mindset than I'm trying to figure out how to revive my channel. And if somehow somebody finds out about it, then they will also be able to learn how to revive their channel if indeed I succeed. Or maybe we can help each other do that. I think that is a huge importance when it comes to my plan, because it kind of focuses on you more than it focuses on others. And because a lot of people, a lot of creatives are in the mindset that they have to focus on the others. You got to focus on what the viewers like. You got to focus you got to focus on everybody. Most of the time, this is just life in general. Most of the time we focus on others more than we focus on ourselves. right? Like you have $100 and your cousin needed, and your mom needed, your brother needed. You will give your brother $100 rather than put that money or say no that you don't have it because you only have $100 left, and you put that money and you save that money for whatever it is that you're trying to do in the future. Most people in the world would care and do whatever they can for other people and do less for themselves. And I disagree with that completely. And that's something that I'm experiencing in my real life, right? I'm learning how to like myself, let alone love myself. And the only way I can like myself is to do good for myself, do good to myself for myself. And as I'm doing good to myself for myself, if I can document that process and people can see I'm doing good to myself for myself, then people will cling on and be attached to what it is that I have to say, because it's not going to be coming from me trying to tell you what to do or me giving you advice. It's me telling you how I actually love myself, right? And it's not even me coming at you telling you, hey, this is what you need to do to better your channel. This is it's like me showing you what you need to do. It's showing, not telling. And I think that's the thing probably that connects that entire, that connects this entire example, right? So because a lot of people, and I'm going to end this example, but because a lot of people focus so much on the viewer, they forget themselves. And a lot of times they kind of get into a situation where they're like, well, what the video do I need to make? What video do I need to make? And there typically never needs to be a situation where you don't have an idea, or not an idea, but you don't have something that you want to make. Because if that's what it is, then maybe you should slow yourself down and find out what it is that you like. Because most of the time, if you like what you like, you're going to make what you like. And if you make what you like, then that's the only thing that matters in the grand scheme of things. So I guess that's a fantastic segue to what it is that I'm actually doing with my channel, and my plan essentially, right? And my plan to effectively get my channel from this dead state and take it to a level that is astronomically higher than anything that I could have ever considered in the history of my existence. And obviously this is really important. This is really, oh snap, we got people in here. Am I tripping? We got people in here. Oh snap, okay, it's one person watching. Okay, cool. That's just really interesting. I didn't even know. But but what was I saying? Yeah, like trying to get my channels to something that I could have never even considered. And let's just go ahead and start. I guess the main idea, the main reason why I want to even do this is because I was talking to a couple of my friends, to a couple of YouTube homies that I have. You have I'm D King, you have JD Legend, you have J Cloud Anime Talk, and we talked in the Discord server. I created a private mastermind Discord, and I wanted to add people that I'm cool with, whatever, to the Discord or whatever, and we can kind of mastermind together and grow our audience. And over the last month and a half, we haven't been talking a lot in the Discord at all. Like we just haven't at all. And last night, actually, before last night's stream, we did have a conversation. We kind of made sure that, hey, like we got to come back together. We got to kind of like catch up with each other and see what's going on, see each other's plans. And, we pretty much, had a conversation for about 2 hours yesterday, talking about just our lives and YouTube and things. And I was asking questions because I wanted to hear their thoughts on certain things, and just to get their ideas of where their head is going. And one of the questions that I asked, which is something that I answered myself, it's just not a question that I wanted to know, like as if I didn't know the answer, but it's a question that brings up interesting thoughts and discussion, right? But I asked them specifically, like, what do you want your channel to be? Like at the end, let's say hypothetically your next video is your last video and you're going to retire from being a content creator because you're like 90 years old, right? Your next video is your last video. What do you want your channel to be? Like what do you want, your viewers to get from you at the tail end of your channel? And they were giving their answers, and it was fantastic answers. It was really interesting. It was about their passions, the thing that they would like to do in the world when it comes to, whether they want to be heavy on broadcasting or whether they want to do anything with the video, just having a higher level of video editing and productions, revolving their individual passions. And, for me to answer that question, which is the reason why I'm continuing my grind on YouTube, is because the reason why, or the reason, I'm sorry, Slow down. My answer to that question was quite simple. I want my viewers to not go through the things that I went through without knowing how to get out of the things that I went through. That's simple. It's that simple. And I'm going to be using it in whatever medium that I can, which is currently talking about My Hero Academia, to give everything that I have to give to my subscribers, to my supporters, to the people who decide to follow my accounts and follow who I am as Wyze. I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that they get the information to not fall where I have fallen. And that if they do fall where I have fallen, how to get up from that. A blueprint. Ways to get up, something that is realistic to them, that is practical enough for them to actually do it, but it also takes their grit and their determination and their will to actually want to do it. But when I have my last channel, I want everyone to say, not that you're a great content creator, not that you have a great video, not, oh, Wyze, this is my favorite video of yours. I don't want anybody to say anything like that to me. Instead, I want people to say, you changed my life. And what I want them to say is, through your experiences and through what you went through in your past, you were able to give me information on how I could not fall in the way that you fell. And that you cared so much. You cared so much about not allowing people to stumble where you stumbled, that you created plans, you put together videos, you have a whole archive of information and resources that can benefit and help me in my predicament, because it's something that you actually went through, something that you have actually experienced, and something that you genuinely didn't want others to experience as well. That's what I want people to say when I make my last video. So because of that, which is why I'm making this YouTube channel, which is me documenting my journey of becoming, or going from a dead channel to a great channel, and then becoming to something bigger than a great channel, something, becoming a fantastic brand, being somebody who can embody, what it is that I truly believe. I have high integrity. I have a lot of things that I very much want to focus on as well, but that is neither here nor there. That is the reason why. That is the reason why I will not stop YouTube. Even though it's going to be days where I feel like, is it worth it? Even though it's going to be days where I feel like I'm sad and I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm getting discouraged because maybe I kind of lose focus of what it is that I'm doing, and I get so stuck on the numbers. The fact that I'm getting, instead of 5,000 views on the video, I'm getting 600 views on the video, 642 to be exact, which is how many views that this video got. And my average was around 5,000-6,000 views per video, and this is literally after the first day. And typically I'll have about 1.5 to 2,000 views within the first day, and this is 1 day and 1 hour. So maybe I get discouraged because of the numbers are dropping, or maybe I get this, get something happens in my personal life that kind of makes me like, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. At the end of the day, I just don't want people to fall where I have fell, and I want to use my platform to make sure that is what's going to happen 1,000%. So, I think the first thing that I want to start off with this live stream. When it comes to my plan to grow my YouTube channel, right? To grow my dead YouTube channel into something that is beautiful, right? Is to first explain the mindset that I'm going to go about my channel, right? The mindset I'm going to go about my channel, and then we're going to get into the practical steps and the things that I'm going to be doing per video, right, to then grow my YouTube channel. I do think that I do genuinely believe, and this is something that I'm struggling with on in my personal life, if I'm going to be honest, your mentality is everything. Before you can do, you have to think that you can do, right? Before you do, you have to think that you can do. If you do and you don't think you can do it, you will never get it. That's just a fact. It's just 1,000% true, right? Your mindset needs to be in a very specific area, because most of the time in the world, most people's mindset isn't wrong. It's incomplete. That's how the world works, it seems. right? Like, it's, for example, when you have a lot of people in poverty areas, a lot of people who are, who would never see millions of dollars ever, one thing that you typically hear them say is like, money doesn't make you happy, or money is the root of all evil. And both of those statements are true, but it's not complete. Right? So money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. The obsession for money is the root of all evil, because you will then do anything to get money, which is something that loses your integrity. It loses who you are as a person. You will lose credibility on your name, and your reputation will be tainted if you were to do anything for money. So you can't have the mindset or incomplete mindset that money is evil, but you have to actually have the mindset that the love and the obsession for money is evil, is the root of all evil. That is the difference in a mindset. But if you don't love money, you don't obsess over money, or you have the actual idea of what money is, which is nothing but a tool, if you can actually conceptualize that, if you can actually internalize that, then you will be looking at how you get money differently. You'll be looking at ways, or you're going to be finding out that things are very much more possible than you would think. Now, that's something that's easier said than done, because again, it's something that I'm struggling with now. It's something that I believe, but sometimes I don't believe. Right. So sometimes I believe it, but when I'm not aware, when I allow myself to fall back into my subconscious and move in autopilot, then I lose myself. So you have to be very much aware. You have to put yourself in the state of now, in a state of awareness in every single thing, and be as intentional as possible, and not put yourself on autopilot for anything that you do in life, especially when it comes to YouTube. You don't want to put yourself on autopilot. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you know you need to do something, but you just kind of just glide by doing whatever it is that you need to do until like the last minute or something like that. So the first mindset that I'm going to be focused on, which is probably the most important thing that I have ever heard when it comes to being a creator. This is the most important thing. This is the best and greatest advice that I've ever heard ever in the history of my life when it comes to being a creative. And it's something that most of the big creators, most of the gurus, they don't say. They don't say this because they're looking at it from more of a business standpoint. But you have to understand that before you can build a business, you have to make sure that you are straight. You have to make sure that the foundational core, which is you, is something that is enjoying the process, that knows what they're doing, that has a system in play. The most important thing, the most valuable thing that I've ever heard is you shouldn't think about the audience. You should not think about the audience. And the reason why that is the most important, the most valuable thing that I've ever heard when it comes to creating content is because when you only think about the audience, when you think about the audience, you think about a group of people that you probably don't even know, you probably don't even understand yet. You have 2,000 subscribers and you're trying to focus on what the audience wants. That's not how you will have longevity in the business of creating content. Because when it comes to creating content, if you are a content creator, you know for a fact that when it comes to creating content, you lose the drive sometimes just as fast as you gain the drive. And typically you only lose a drive when you're doing something that you don't want to do most of the time. Most of the time, if you're doing something that you don't want to do, that is when you lose the drive. This is why people typically have burnout, because they do the same type of content every single time and they don't like doing that content anymore. It's not as interesting to them, but they do it because it gives them 3,000 views instead of 900 views that they'll do on a video that they might do like. The thing that you should prioritize over anything is you. In the beginning and the end, you matter. And as you go along the journey, your matterness, blah, blah, right? Your ability to take care of you will attract others. And those others will be interested in what you have to say and what you are doing, because you are not caring about other people. You're caring about yourself. So I heard this. This is actually a statement that I saw from this individual on Twitter. His name is Andrew Kirby, right? He says 90% of podcasters quit before episode 3. Of the remaining 10%, 90% of those 10% quit before episode 20. Why? Because they make content for other people. So when other people don't see what they make, they quit. The solution? Create for yourself. Have an audience of 1. This is powerful. When you make content for other people, you then have expectation for others to view it. When you make content for the market, you have expectations that the market should or shouldn't, it depends on if you are optimistic or pessimistic, come to your channel, come to your videos, and just enjoy what you have to offer. But you have to understand that no one cares about you. No one cares about you. They care about they care about the content. They care about what they care about, which is the topic, hopefully, that of the discussion that you are making. But nobody cares about you. In the beginning, especially, no one knows who you are. So in the beginning, it's the most important time for you to not care about the audience. You shouldn't be caring about people who don't care about you. Instead, you should be caring about the things that you like, because the things that you like is there's somebody else that likes it as well. You're not the only person in the world that likes whatever it is that you want to talk about in this specific niche. So I'm going to use my channel as an example. I am a My Hero Academia YouTuber, right? My Hero Academia is an anime series, one of the most popular anime series in the West, right? But obviously a Japanese anime, it's from Japan, but it's one of the most popular animes in the West probably because it's based on superheroes, but nonetheless, it's a fantastic story. I review the manga and also the anime content, right? Every single week, I have to do a chapter review. Right? Because there's a new chapter that comes out every single week, most weeks. So some weeks there's breaks, right? But every single week I have to do a chapter review on My Hero Academia. Some weeks when the chapter is not interesting, I don't want to make videos. I don't want to have to talk about a chapter that I didn't find interesting. There's nothing valuable in this chapter. There's nothing entertaining happening in this chapter. This is just more so of a filler chapter that's it's important probably 5-10 chapters later on, because maybe it's some subtle hints of something that we got in this chapter, but there's some chapters that I just do not want to talk about. But sometimes I feel like I'm obligated to do it, not because I enjoy, not because I like doing it, but because the audience I'm trying to find out what the audience wants. People who don't look at me as an individual necessarily, not yet. I'm still at only 20K. I haven't had enough time to actually implement my personality and who I am as an individual person for people to even care about me yet. I've only been doing this for a year and a half, year and probably like 8 months, right? So because of that, people are going to always say, well, where's the chapter review? Where's the chapter review? They're not going to understand that there's nothing important in the chapter. It was a boring chapter. It was like a 1 out of 10. It wasn't good. It was fodder. They're not going to understand that. They're not going to say, well, I'm going to just wait for Wyze to post a video. But what they're going to say is, I want the chapter. I need it now. I want the chapter. I need it now. I don't care about how you feel. I don't care about what you think. I don't care about anything. I just need you to tell me what you think about the chapter. You can't tell me anything else. You just tell me what you think about the chapter. And what that does to me is, when I feel like I need to put out a chapter and I need to put out a review. Now, this is an example. This isn't often. I don't often ever feel like I don't want to do a review, but this is an example. If I ever feel like if I ever feel like I'm obligated to do it, even though I don't want to do it, when that builds up, and it builds up to a time and a place where I'm going to resent talking about My Hero Academia, I'm going to say, I don't even want to do this. So why? Why am I doing something that I don't want to do? This chapter was trash. It's 4 chapters straight of straight garbage. This is not good. I don't want to talk about this series no more, and you're going to feel burnt out, and you're not going to have the amount of energy and the passion and enjoyment and excitement you have for all your other videos, because you don't want to do a video that you know that you can't not do because your subscribers want you to do it. People who don't care about what you want to talk about or not. So it doesn't make sense for you to be chasing after people who don't care who you are, and instead you shouldn't focus on that. You should be focusing on what you enjoy. And then as you make the content and then make the videos that you enjoy, people are inevitably going to check your videos out as long as they are good. Now, that's a completely different thing. Making good content that you enjoy versus making content that other people enjoy is 2 different things, because that is what people say the market is going to decide. The market is going to decide whether the content that you put out is good. So you might as well put out content that you enjoy, because you're going to be naturally excited about it. And if it's good, then you'll know it's good. And if it's bad, then you'll know it's bad, because the market will ultimately decide whether it's good or it's bad. But you can't focus on the viewers. You can't focus on the viewers. You need to focus on what you enjoy. Because if you're putting out a product that's lackluster because people just want it faster at a faster point in time, and you just don't have a passion to even make the product anymore, you can't expect yourself to, one, have a thriving business at all. You're making something that you don't even want to make. You have no interest in making something. Right? So make the thing that you want to make. That's the first thing that's the very first thing that comes to mind. Now, when it comes to the algorithm, this is something that not too many of the YouTube gurus mention, and this is something that is freaking amazing when I heard it, right? Not too many YouTubers, not too many people talk about this. Not too many. When it comes to, I need to slow myself down because I'm very passionate right now, and I speak a little faster when I'm passionate. When it comes to the YouTube algorithm, a lot of the gurus, a lot of the analytics people, I'm not saying that they're wrong or that they shouldn't be saying this, because that's not the case. They deserve the clout that they have. They've taken their time and energy to put all the effort into learning or to having different, concepts when it comes to the YouTube algorithm that can help certain people. And I'm not discrediting that. I'm talking about the people who are regular, right? But when it comes to the YouTube algorithm, a lot of the people, a lot of the grandiest of these YouTube gurus would tell you to focus on the viewers. Because if you focus on the viewers, the algorithm is chasing the viewers most of the time, right? Correction. Let me wipe that away. I got to redo that, right? When it comes to the YouTube algorithm, right? Most gurus, or some gurus, would say you should do these hacks you should focus on the algorithm, right? Focus on how to bend the algorithm's rule to your favor, right? And we know after a certain amount of time, you can only get maybe the first 1,000 subscribers by doing that. Realistically, you can only get probably your first 1,000 subscribers following the tips and tricks of the guru that says to follow the algorithm and to manipulate the algorithm. You can probably only get a small amount of subscribers. When you get more subscribers is when you go to the second tier of gurus, in which they say follow the viewers, because when you have the YouTube algorithm chasing the viewers, right, all they're trying to do is chase the viewers' interest. And if you are just on the same level, right, you're right there, you're chasing the viewers, you're in front of the algorithm, you're chasing the viewers, and that means that the algorithm is inevitably going to be chasing you. But there's a third thing that I don't hear anybody say. I don't hear anybody ever say that. The viewers only came to your channel because you posted a particular video. They only subscribe because they like to have the way that you explain the video. So why not you just chase you? You chase what you're interested in. Because if you chase what you're interested in and people see it and they enjoy it, they chase you. And then if they chase you, then would the algorithm not be chasing them? Who is chasing you? So you will be the person that essentially is getting the most benefits out of the algorithm, not because you're chasing the viewers or you're always wondering what the viewer wants, but you're focusing on what you inevitably want, right? How you want. Now, obviously, you have to take it. You have to take it with a grain of salt, because you're not going to succeed in the level of every single video isn't going to be something that you should expect all your viewers to want to watch. You have to be okay and aware that this video is something that I want to do, and I don't care how many views that it takes. It takes a high level of awareness to understand that, right? Nonetheless, if your viewers are following you, the algorithm is following the viewers, meaning that you are going to be the one that's benefiting more than anybody, because you're not sacrificing what you want to make for your subscribers. You only make the videos that you genuinely care about. And when you genuinely care about it, you're able to be more consistent at the thing that you genuinely care about, because it's something that you genuinely care about. Meaning that when you, and typically, again, this is a YouTube tip, we know that consistency matters, trumps almost anything. Consistency and having good content trumps almost anything. When you're consistent, people that obviously that builds your catalog, right? And that can help you and suggest it as well, right? But when you're consistent and you're doing the content that you enjoy, you have the energy there, so it's more likely that people will be attracted to your energy and the way that you present your content. You're consistent. YouTube's going to see that. YouTube's going to bless you even more so, and your channel is probably going to be blowing up to whatever level that it is that blow up. Because sometimes blow up is like 20,000 subscribers, sometimes blow up is 100,000, sometimes blow up is millions, sometimes it just depends on what your niche is and how realistic that is based on the market that you have, right? But yes, so the first thing that I'm going to be doing with my channel is understanding that I need to make content for me. Content that I enjoy about the series that I love talking about, which is My Hero Academia. And when I do the content, and as long as I'm consistent, I'm not stopping, but as long as I'm consistent in doing the content that I enjoy, people will come. Because I have an attractive personality. I have an attractive energy, right? Like literally, I mean, I'm not saying this in a braggadocious way or whatever. I'm not saying this to brag, but I do have an attractive personality. When I'm in a group of people, if I'm talking and energy, like whenever I have an energy that can just make people interested in what it is that I have to say, or just being interested in having conversation with me. Like that's just something that I've just had for the majority of my life, right? So in all reality, just keeping it real, if I just be genuine to me, and if you be genuine to you, and I'm letting y'all know this right now, I gotta say this every single live stream. I'm sorry, I'm not telling you as if I'm telling you, like as if I know this 100%. I'm teaching myself based off of like, this is how I talk. I talk to myself when I talk to myself without the cameras. I typically talk to myself as if I am somebody that I am teaching. So that's how I learn. And if it makes sense to me, then I would, do it. But if I don't, then I'm going to act like a student and raise my hand and say, yo, that doesn't make sense. And then I'm going to try to do a counter argument. That's typically how I do that. I know it sounds crazy, but you have to understand that is the way that it makes a lot of sense for me to argue with myself as if I'm two people rather than being just one person, right? Even though I am one person, right? But me making content for me, and you making content for you, like that is going to be, as long as the content is good, and you have to be aware, you have to have a high level of self-awareness. As long as you're making content for you and I'm making content for me, then we will inevitably, as long as it's worthy of me, because it's good content, and you can obviously, kind of look at different ways to make good content. And I even talk about that a little bit in my live stream that I posted last night. About how to make good content, or YouTube's metrics, YouTube analytics literally tells us what things we need to focus on in our videos to make good content. And I even go to characters like Mr. Beast. I went to Mr. Beast's channel, I went to Eric's channel, I went to Dreams, and like a lot of like top Minecraft YouTubers, and they all have the same type of content in some cases. Like their concepts inside of their content are the same, which are really interesting to me when I found that out. So that means that there are basic things that we can do to our videos that makes it drastically better. It's just we have to use the tools that we currently have and to the best of our ability, meaning that we got to do a lot of research into how to make our phones sound a little bit better, or how to make, like how to get a $20 mic to sound like a $150 mic, right? With free software. So, what I'm saying? Like you have to use whatever it is that you have to your advantage, and you can't complain by saying anything. You have to take it with a grain of salt, or not with a grain of salt. You have to take it exactly as it is and be okay with where you are and just start to move forward. And that's just another portion of self-love. So the first point, right? The first point, yet again, the first thing that I'm going to focus on is mindset. The first portion of it is mindset. And the first point that I'm going to be focusing on when it comes to how I'm going to revive my dead channel, and how I'm going to revive my dead channel, and how I'm going to grow it to astronomical levels, in my opinion, because I just feel like if I put in the work and my content is good, then I'm going to get to whatever it is that I want. As long as I put in the work and I actually can do it, the market allows me to do it, then I'm going to do it. But the first thing that I'm going to focus on is making content that I enjoy. And that's it. Don't make content that other people like, or just make content that only you enjoy. Have an audience of one. Only you are your only audience, and everybody else that's watching are just like, oh, okay, they're watching, they're just doing what it is. Act like you're a street dancer, or you're a dancer and you're dancing for yourself. You're not dancing for anybody else. You're dancing for yourself. And if people cheer you on, then that's cool. But you block out all the cheers. You block out all the cheers. You block out all the boos, and you're doing whatever you do for you. If you can't do that, then you're going to go through constant like times where you're going to, or as a YouTuber, where you're going to be like, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And it's going to be easier for you to fall than it is for you to grind, for you to rise. And if you're making content that you enjoy, then you probably are going to have realistically time for you to say, is it worth it? Because maybe you're not going to be growing as much, but it's because you kind of lose your awareness. That's more likely because you lose your awareness instead of bringing yourself back to your awareness, where you're like, oh, it doesn't matter about growth. It matters about me making content that I enjoy. And as long as I'm making content that I enjoy, then I am okay, right? Obviously, you want to obviously use specific strategies and look at the analytics to see how you can bolster your numbers, right? Put yourself in a position where you're better, so you don't just make good content or content that you enjoy with a crappy thumbnail, crappy title, whatever. Like make the content that you enjoy, and also manipulate the SEO aspect of things. Have a good thumbnail, have a good title, and just everything else when it comes to your content. Enjoy it. Like, just if you don't enjoy it, then what are you doing? If you don't enjoy it, then what are you doing? You're suffering. You're losing 90% of the time. So that's the first thing that I'm really going to be focused on. And again, that's based on this tweet right here from Andrew Kirby, where it says 90% of podcasters quit before episode 3. Of the remaining 10%, 90% of those podcasters quit before episode 20. And the reason why is because they make content for other people. So typically, again, there's so much pressure. So don't make content for other people. Have an audience of one, and that one person being you. Make sure your audience, aka your audience, are actually something that that enjoys your content. That's the only person. You're the only person that needs to enjoy your content. The only person. If you don't enjoy your content, but 1 million people enjoy your content, you're just going to be miserable. That's it. Like, you're going to be miserable with 1 million subscribers, and you do not want to be miserable with 1 million subscribers, right? Another mindset, right? I mean, I think all that kind of goes into that, right? I'm pretty sure all that goes into that. It kind of literally connects everything. Right? Consistency goes into that, because if you're more interested in what you want to talk, if you're interested in the thing that you're doing, you're going to be more consistent at it naturally. If you enjoy working out, you're going to be more consistent in working out, which is why a lot of people say when you go to a workout, like after not working out for a year, start light, because if you go heavy and your body starts to ache and you don't like that feeling, you're probably not going to go back the next time. So you have to find a way to enjoy that workout, which is what I typically do. I enjoy the rise of like this high that I get when I run, because when I be running, ooh boy. So I think that kind of goes into that as well. Consistency, which is another mindset that you need to have, that I'm going to be having. And also, I think that's pretty much it. Because that's pretty much the formula for greatness in general, right? Like doing the same thing, or obviously same thing is very whatever, right? But doing the same thing, aka posting a video consistently for a long period of time. If you do that with quality, not just crappy. So being consistent, right? For a long period of time, doing the same thing, right? Doing the same thing for a long period of time. Just doing the same thing consistently for a long period of time. And you will be a master at whatever it is that you're doing. You will be known for whatever it is that you do. If you do the same thing every single time during this time, but you have to make sure that one thing that you do is interesting. So like, and again, that one thing could be something that's way more macro or way more micro, way more niche, or or the niche maybe a little bit bigger, right? A little bit more broad, maybe more narrowed or broad, right? It just depends. Like, let's say you have channels that only do top 10s. Like if you only do top 10s, then it's like whatever. But you also have channels that do reactions, which is way more broad because they can do reactions on anything, but they only do reactions. So it's still being consistent to whatever it is that they're doing. So I'm sorry, it's still the same thing, which is a reaction. They just do it to so many different things in the world, which makes it way more broad. Now, if you only do anime reactions, then it's like a little bit more niche down. But again, that's still more broad because there's thousands of anime, there's tens of thousands of anime out there. Now, if you only do shonen anime, see what I'm saying? It breaks it even more further down. So make the content that you want to make. If you want to do anime reactions, make the content that you want to make. Make that content and do it for a long period of time, right? Assuming that you want to continue making anime content. But if you genuinely enjoy making anime content or watching anime in general, then I think that you would, in fact, enjoy it a year, 2 years from now. That's as long as you don't lose yourself in the numbers and you just make a video because of other people. You have to make a video for you. So I think now we get into more of the strategic elements of this, and I'm going to use the YouTube analytics system, right? I'm going to use the YouTube analytics system to explain why I'm going to be doing what I do. So as I've said previously in my last live stream, the YouTube tells you everything you need to know. If you're a new YouTuber, if you ever see this and you're a new YouTuber and you're trying to find out, YouTube tells you everything you need to know on how to succeed on YouTube. Like it gives you all the blueprints, it gives you everything you need to know, and I'm going to explain or show you exactly where to find everything you need to know. And then, you know, you can take time to study it on a deeper level if you ever decide to do anything like that. So when you go to your YouTube analytics, now this is going to be shown the same for everybody, I believe. Or I'm pretty sure it is. But it's going to be the setup may be a little bit different if you're not monetized versus if you are monetized. Obviously, because you don't have the revenue tab. It's so much more that goes into that. But like in the beginning, your first 1,000 subscribers, your intention should be completely different than what it is when you have revenue coming in and you trying to make a full-time living. It's a different thing. That's neither here nor there. If you look at these four tabs tell you the only things that, not the only things, but the things that YouTube looks for, that YouTube is telling you that you need to focus on, right, to grow your channel. So essentially, these are the basics. The basics of YouTube are reach, engagement, audience, and revenue. These are the basics, right? These are the basics of YouTube. If you understand these four things and you actually not only understand it, but you find ways to apply it to your channel and YouTube videos respectively, you will succeed. You will, I promise you. And the reason why I say I promise you, even though I'm saying, okay, well, yes, my channel is dead. The reason why is because I unknowingly getting to 20,000 subscribers, I was doing what they were doing here. I was focused on exactly what I was doing here. The thing that prevented me from getting more is, one, I was unintentionally or unknowingly doing this. Right. And the thing that got me to where my channel is dying is because life circumstances. I started looking at viewers and caring so much about what the viewers want. Like, why I'm trying to make videos that I want to make, but the viewers, they don't like those. So I got to make so I lost myself, which is why I said the first thing that we need to focus on before any of that is changing our mindsets to making only content that you want. You are the only audience that matters. So there's no such thing as audience. That's put that in your head. Like there's no such thing as an outside audience. You are the only thing that matters. If you don't enjoy your content, but 5 billion people out of the 7.8 billion people in the world watches your video, you will be a miserable person. And it doesn't change the fact of anything. You're going to still hate your content. It's not going to change the fact that now you're getting billions of dollars. Sure, but you're still going to hate the video. And you're still going to feel like you have to make another video that's exactly the same as that video when you hate it. So because of that, it's going to make your life even worse. It's going to make your life even worse. So do not follow the hype of people who say, well, I'd rather be crying in the Bentley than, happy in a Honda. Like, bro, that's so stupid. First off, you're saving money with a Honda. So what? Good gas, good fuel efficiency. Like, there's so many different benefits to having a Honda. It doesn't matter. Do not care about what these people say. What you need to focus on is you. You are your only audience. You only need to make content that you enjoy. And as long as the content is good, that is when YouTube is going to then, as long as the content is good, you're consistent and you have a catalog. Well, you don't got to have a catalog, but as long as the content is good and you're consistent, that is when YouTube is going to bless you. If the content is good and you are consistent, YouTube, sure, YouTube's going to bless you, not because of anything other than the fact that you are making good content and people want to see it, assuming people want to see it. And you are not special. Let's keep that real. You are not special. You are not the person. You are not the only person in the world that loves what you are about to make a video about. There are at least 100,000 to there's at least 100,000 people in the world that loves what you love. There's at least 100,000 people in the world. There's at least 10,000 people to 100,000 people that loves what you love, that are searching for that. There's more people in the world that loves what you love, but there's at least 10, 50 to 100,000 people that loves what you love as well. And if you can be okay with just having, a subscriber count of about 5,000, as long as you're making content that you enjoy and you have your own little job on the side or whatever, you're doing your own thing, it goes back to awareness. Then you will be okay. You'll be way more happier than somebody who's making millions of subscribers, depressed, thinking the S word thoughts. You know what I'm saying? You'll be way more better off if you're okay with that. But you just have to be aware of what your limitations are. So, sorry for going on that little rant, but YouTube gives you everything. YouTube gives you everything that you need to grow if you take time to truly understand this, which is what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks, to taking time to really understand and analyze and break down to the T to try to get the best example or understanding of all of these tabs, every single thing. And when it comes to reach, engagement, audience, and revenue, right? So let me break this down to the way that I think about it. Again, I'm very open to the possibility that I'm not completely right, but I do believe that I am correct. Maybe it's not complete all the way, but I'm going to, I'm going to take time to focus on that. So the reach tab, right? The reach tab shows you your channel, your entire channel success, right? Or not success effect. It shows you the overall performance of your channel. This is the culmination of all your videos. Your channel is your videos, your engagement, everything. This kind of shows you all that, right? All that, just everything, right? Obviously impressions, these are based off of your monthly impressions over the last month for your entire channel. The impression click-through rate is the same thing. The views and the unique views, these are all based off of how your channel has performed over the last 28, 90 days. If you do 30, it doesn't matter. Today, yesterday, it tells you everything about your performance of your channel. So if your channel is performing low, you will know based off of this specific area, right? It tells you where your traffic sources are, where people are actually watching your videos from, right? External traffic sources, suggested videos. It tells you all how your channel is performing on the macro lens, right? And it also tells you how to ensure that you can get your channel to perform better by looking at the impressions or the impressions and how they led to watch time. This is the funnel that a lot of the YouTube gurus talk about. They mention to you all on what you need to focus on your videos collectively, right? To ensure that you are making, to ensure that you are having a pop, or you can have a high performing channel, right? Which you're going from impressions, right? So impressions, as it says right here, impressions are essentially the amount of times that a viewer, or amount of time that your videos are being viewed, or your thumbnail is being viewed, or your thumbnails and titles are being viewed. So whenever you see a thumbnail, you swipe past it, that is counted as an impression. Now it is a little skewed in some cases, like, having the same person see the same thumbnail like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times and they haven't clicked on it, or it's just so many different things that kind of goes into that, but that's neither here nor there. Impressions are the amount of time that your thumbnail is seen by an individual, whether you think you see it or not. You might swipe past it and you not even know you saw it, but that's considered an impression. A click-through rate is how many times somebody clicked on the thumbnail, or the percentage of the time that somebody clicked on the thumbnail whenever they saw it, and that kind of generates your views. So the views are the results of people clicking on your thumbnail from the impression that they saw, from the percentage, whatever, right? So that gives you your views, right? And from here you have average view duration, which is how long people watch your videos when they click on the video. And from average view duration, when you add up all the time that people have, you kind of get how many watch time or impression hours you get, right? So it goes from minutes, and then they kind of, okay, we'll add a certain point of time. You got about 2,000 hours of watch time, right? Which is rather impressive, right? When you consider the fact that the higher this number is, the better it is, because one thing that YouTube focuses on a lot is viewer sessions and not just average view duration, right? Having a video having good average view duration, they want you to have high viewer duration. Viewers sessions, right? Meaning your watch hours need to be as high as possible, right? Your watch hours need to be as high as possible, mainly because that indicates how long people watch your content. So if people watch my content for only 2,000 hours last month, that's not necessarily bad, because it is bad in all grand scheme of things, but it's not bad because a lot of people would never get that, nor have they ever had that. So I have to look at that in a better lens. But what that tells me is that out of all my content, like, I was not able to get people to have to have a long session on YouTube, going from this video to this video to this video to this video, and all the videos that are in my catalog. I was not able to get people to go from this video to that video, and that's pretty much what that is trying to tell us. Even though it doesn't tell us that, and I'm letting y'all know now because that's just what it is. And I don't actually hear too many people talk about that. I've heard this, I believe from, I don't even know, maybe Daryl Eves. I have no idea. Somebody, I heard it from one person like a year and a half ago. And again, this is something that just popped back up in my head as I'm speaking about it, because it makes sense. It's like, well, why? Because again, if you notice, YouTube makes it obvious the things that you need to focus more on by making it more in your face. That's just a fact, right? The biggest thing right here is impressions. The biggest things in impressions. So the whole thing is like, you need to have high impressions naturally, right? Click-through rate is definitely very important, really important, right? But you need a lot of impressions, which means what? You need a good thumbnail and a really interesting title, right? And obviously, the next thing that you need to look at is views from impressions, right? It doesn't say views from click-through rate, because obviously the click-through rate is the thing that the results of click-through rate are the views, right? So the whole thing is like, you need to get a really good thumbnail and title so that you can get a lot of views, which is what YouTube is trying to tell us right here by bolding views. And then from views, you need to have a really good video for people to be interested, to go to the end, to be able to watch more of your content, which then creates watch time from impressions, right? Because hear me, right? If somebody watches to the end of your video and they see your video at the end screen, that is an impression still. And if they click on that video because they saw this video that you just posted and they were interested in that video, then they're going to click on the next video if it connects to this video, which is why they say you should make videos that are connected to the video that you make, right? Essentially, right? So that you can kind of milk it, milk the videos that are good on your channel by making content similar to it, and then you can direct people to that video, to those videos, right? So that you can have a higher watch session, which could boost that number right here up, which will show that your channel is performing. So let's say if I had 12,000, or let's say I had 20,000, 10 times more. Let's say I had 20,000. My channel would 1,000% not be dead, right? If I had 20,000 hours of watch time, my channel would not be dead. My channel would be booming. Think about it, right? And that's actually really interesting information. But YouTube literally tells you everything you need to focus on, right? Right here, it tells us, okay, traffic source. So this tells me how viewers came to find my content, which tells me, since YouTube has it so high and so bolded and so, it's just there, you can't miss it, that I need to focus on what traffic sources my viewers come from. This is where a lot of people say the most important traffic sources that you should be getting is suggested, which again connects back to this, right? And how you're able to get this, because if your videos are interesting and people, think about it from an individual. It's like, if I watch if you watch my video, or if I watch your video and I watch it all the way to the end, YouTube's going to test to see if I want to see more of your videos. So let's say I make a video that is similar to the video that in which you just watched, because you obviously watched to the end, so you must be interested in that type of content, and you check that video out, right? That means that was a video that was from, obviously, suggested. That was a suggested video from me to you, essentially. But that's not how it necessarily works all the way, because YouTube then try to test the waters as well to see if you're interested in it by throwing my videos in your suggested videos as well, throwing it either on the home page, right? So like whenever you come on to YouTube, boom, my video is smack dab right in your face to see, like, okay, well, I know you watched 3 videos of this guy and you watched it all the way to his completions, and it was 10-minute videos, or it was 8-minute, however long a video, but you liked the video, you comment on the video, you subscribe to it, like, I want to see it. Boom, throw that right in his face. Now, if they watch that video, then more likely than not, your videos will come up in their suggested tabs, right? More often than not. Now, again, I'm open to the possibility that I'm incomplete on that, but I know that I'm not wrong. I'm open to the possibility that I'm incomplete on that, but I know that I'm not wrong, right? And the whole thing you need to focus on is just trying to get more people to watch your content longer. I'm sorry, watch your videos more. So just that's the whole thing. And that column over there, this traffic source area right here, this gives you the opportunity to do just that, right? They say the most important is suggested videos, because that is literally what is going to dictate this. YouTube search is not going to dictate this. YouTube search can maybe start it. It just depends on, what they're looking up. But YouTube search isn't going to that's typically not going to do that. Browser, which is the home page, that can start a funnel. Suggested, that can start a funnel. Right? Channel pages, that can very much start a funnel as well. Notifications, that more likely wouldn't, but it could start a funnel, because if they get notification, that means that they're a follower of yours and they have post notifications on, so they probably already seen a lot of your videos in the past. So it's more likely that that's not going to start that, but it could very much start a watch session in general, right? And that is valuable for its own other reasons, right? So the reach tab just shows you how to get your channel, or the things that you need to look at to make your channel perform better, right? The engagement tab, right? And I was looking at this yesterday, and this is something that I realized that was really important, that I don't think I've ever seen anybody talk about. And maybe I'm wrong, somebody let me know, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody talk about the engagement tab like in depth. The engagement tab teaches you exactly what you need to focus on to make a video good. Now, obviously, it still is vague, just like the reach tab. It's like, okay, well, it tells you, well, you got to focus on your title and thumbnails. You got to focus on, the video average view duration. So that means you got to find out how to make your videos good for people to have a higher average view duration. Well, engagement tells you the things that YouTube looks at, literally the thing that YouTube looks at to get you a high engaged video, a video that has high average view duration. And again, it tells you that you can look at it from here. Okay, boom. The first thing you see is watch time hours. So again, this is before average view duration, which is huge. Look at this, right? So when you go here, the funnel is impressions, click-through rate, views from impressions, average view duration, watch time, right? If you literally look over here, it shows you exactly the way that YouTube is looking at all this, right? So when you go to, like, the first thing you need to focus on is impressions. Get more impressions. The next thing you need to focus on is click-through rate. The next thing after that is views, and then after that is unique views. Is unique viewers. Why? You have to ask the question. It's like, why is YouTube saying, well, why are unique viewers important? Why is that important? Well, obviously, I'm not going to go into that. I'm using that as an example. YouTube is literally telling us the way that we should be looking at things, the way and the steps, or the one by one step. I don't know the word. It's a word for that, right? But the way that we need to look at it, and the exact exact steps, right, that we need to look at it. We need to first look at impressions, then we need to look at click-through rate, then we need to look at views, and then obviously it says average view duration, but that doesn't, it's not right here because average view duration is in engagement, and average view duration, because average view duration doesn't necessarily affect, shows the performance of your channel, and it shows the performance of an individual video, whereas view shows you the performance of your channel is good or bad, and unique view shows the performance of your channel is good or bad because these are unique viewers, people who are coming to your channel for the first time. It shows if your channel is good, is bad, performing good and bad as well. But notice how the most important things are on the left and the least important, even though they're all important, don't get me wrong, this is like a car, like, you know, one part maybe, you know, more practical, you know, important. Like if you don't have a steering wheel, then obviously it's like whatever, but it doesn't change the fact that you need the cap on your oil cap or something like that. It doesn't change the fact that you need that still, but it's still, you can't operate the car either way. You won't be able to have a good channel if you don't have all this information. But the most important are the ones that YouTube is saying, yo, focus on impressions. They put it towards the left. So that means that when you look at this engagement tab, the first thing that you look at is watch time. We got to find out how to get watch hours up. That's what YouTube is telling me, at least. That's what I'm seeing right here. I'm gonna change it to this. That's what YouTube is telling me right here. I need to get my watch hours up, and the way that I do that is by getting my average view duration up. That's what it tells me. That's what it tells me, right? Or maybe vice versa. Like I need to get my average view duration up, but I can do that. Whatever. It doesn't change the fact of anything. but what it does do is it kind of gives you an idea of like, okay, YouTube ain't slick. YouTube ain't slick. It's telling me everything I need to do. YouTube is telling me everything I need to do. I just need to actually like analyze it and see what is it that YouTube is saying to me. YouTube is telling me something, right? So now you go down and ask the question, well, why? So, hold up. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Hold up. I don't want to do that. Give me 1 second. I'm back. Sorry, y'all. My bad. All right. What was I saying? Oh, them headphones. All right. So, okay. So we back. Volume is good. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So, but now, as I was saying, now you have to ask the question, right? You have to ask, what does this mean? Like, because YouTube is telling me what I need me to do, what does it mean? Why? It's like, what does it mean? Well, if you literally look right here, right, it says key moments for audience retention. So it tells us that these are the moments that essentially we need to be look at, right? We need to be looking at to gain higher audience retention. Well, what is audience retention? Well, like average view duration, average watch time per video compared to previous average watch time per view compared with previous period. Oh, compared with previous period. Okay, gotcha. Right. So the thing that's, you can even look at that's fascinating, right? But the thing that's interesting, right? I gotta go attend the uni class while I watch the rest and repeat. Take care. I didn't even know you was watching. Right, take care. Right, but the thing that we need to focus on, are the key moments of audience retention. Again, audience retention, the more audience retention is determined by how high your average view duration is. The less audience retention, right, is the less average view duration. Slow down. Right. Oh, they even added they added a whole different thing. They added a new chart to it. Oh, that's freaking crazy. They just I swear they didn't have this last night. Maybe they did. But when you go to your channel, right, it shows us, boom, the key moments for audience retention. It shows us the intro, the top moments. Oh, they literally changed it. They literally did change it. Yo, okay. They just changed it. Like literally like 12 hours ago, this was called continuous segment. So this is called top moments now. Your viewers watch for longer. So YouTube is literally changing as we speak. Guys, YouTube is changing as we speak. They just changed this from continuous segment. And I literally have a live stream that I did yesterday talking about this, like, you know, this whole thing. Not even yesterday. It was literally 2 o'clock in the morning today, right? And they just changed it like probably within the next couple hours. And they also added this little portion right here that says typical retention, right? So it tells you like what you typically get, and then it makes it even easier for you to show, like, for you to compare your own individual videos, which makes it so fantastic. But pretty much it's like this. YouTube wants you to focus on intros. So the intros are viewers, viewers still watching around the 30-second mark. The top moments are your viewers watch for longer than usual. Nice work. The spikes appears when more viewers are watching, rewatching, or sharing moments of the video. And then dips means viewers are abandoning or skipping certain parts of the video, right? So people skip certain parts of the video. People, that's what a dip is. People rewind or go back to a certain area of the video. That's what that is. Top moments is how long people watch your videos. And as we figured out in the last live stream, the top moments or the continuous segments, it's pretty much a spike, but for a long period of time. So you can very much have it to where it's not just horizontal, but it also inclines as well. That's considered a top moment as well. And intro is the first 30 seconds. So essentially what YouTube is saying, they say you need to, this is the formula, right? You need to have a good intro, the first 30 seconds need to be something that is enticing. Then you have to have top moments. You have to have a good intro, a long, segments in your video that are long, right? That are really intriguing. You need to have, spikes. You need to have high spikes. Or you don't need to have spikes really in all reality. In all reality, you only need these two, the intros and top moments. Spikes are typically, well, actually, yes, you do need to have spikes, because that means that, typically somebody's rewinding the video or rewatching the video, right? Which counts as another view, which is why a lot of the inclines happen in the first place, because it doesn't make sense if you start off the video with 60% and then you have an incline. The only reason why you have an incline is because people rewatch the video, meaning that your content is something that is shareable, right? So they can share that video with somebody else, or that your content is something that is so good or enjoyable that it needs to be rewatched, right? Or that means that your content probably isn't a standalone video, and it probably connects to something else that is, that is able to go back to do exactly what we were talking about earlier, which is, focus on getting high session time, right? So the formula is intros, and then intros, top moments, and spikes with no dips. That's the whole formula, right? Intros plus top moments plus spikes with minus dips. That's literally what it is, right? Even if you look at this video right here, they're literally like this right here, all this will be considered top moments, because not like it's not horizontal obviously, but it's on an incline. So that means that people were so interested in the content that they were watching and they rewatched that area, they rewinded and rewatched that area, and it started to go higher. And I'm gonna prove it to you right now, so that way that way it's not like anything crazy. I'm gonna prove it to you by showing you that oh, it doesn't even show it. It literally doesn't even show it. That sucks. 40% of viewers are still watching at the 30-minute mark, which is typical. Learn more by comparing to other videos. Go to analytics, and I'm actually going to go to see more. Oh, nope, never mind. All right. This is actually good. So it literally it tells you, you know, this is good. It tells you probably the most outstanding thing, but it doesn't tell me. That's freaking suck. That freaking sucks. Okay, let's actually go back. Freaking sucks. All right, but let's go back. So that's pretty much the formula that YouTube is using, and that's the formula that I'm going to be using for my videos. The practical steps that I'm going to be using for my videos to have good videos, have individual good videos. I need to focus on the introduction, the first 30 seconds, and I need to focus on the top moments, right? So essentially, there's actually an area, and I'm going to show you all. Where is it at? Where is it at? Is it send us? It can't be that. No. Where is it at? I know that you can go to it. I just don't know how to get to it from here. But let's go to Google support. So you go to Google support, which is what I would recommend every YouTuber. I would recommend any YouTuber and every YouTuber go to Google support, because Google support literally gives you the blueprint and the answers to everything. It gives you even more of an in-depth idea on the things that you need to be focused on your channel, and individually to make certain metrics higher, to have certain metrics higher. So if you go to Google support, obviously, and you go to YouTube, obviously, you can even bookmark it. That way you ain't got to worry about it. You can just bookmark it, which is what I'm about to do right now. Add bookmark, YouTube help. Done, right? So you go here, and then you're able to click right here. It says create and grow your channel. So this literally tells you everything about all the things that you need to be focused on. It tells you all the things that are in the analytics, but it breaks it down to like just words. That way you don't even have to look at these, look at YouTube gurus. Now you may need help a little bit to find out how to make these, add these into your own videos, add these concepts to your own videos, but you have all the blueprints right here. You don't need to be paying thousands of dollars for a course. Now, if you want, because you truly believe that somebody can help you because the results are something that you're like, wait, what? Right? Then sure, but you don't have to. If you really take time to analyze it like I'm doing myself, then we can actually get this on our own. Right? Or you can just look at my channel, and I'm doing this for free. So it's just whatever it is. So it tells you creating your channel. You got upload, you got edit videos, right? You got creating shorts, customizing, you got analyzing performance with analytics. You got all this, right? So let's go to analyzing performance with analytics, and it brings you down to this little tab right here, which literally breaks down all this. Reach tab, it has its own section. Engagement tab has its own section. Audience tab has its own section. Revenue tab, it has its own section. It tells you everything. Boom. Understanding audience engagement. So it literally tells you the engagement tab of YouTube analytics gives you an overview of what audience is watching and how they interact with your content individually, how they interact with your content individually as an individual video. That's the thing that needs to be said as well. The key metrics card shows your watch time hours and average view duration. Watch time hours is pretty much how long people watch your content in the hourly thing, right? Which pretty much indicates if you are creating watch sessions, right? Which are more important than watch time, right? If you have one video that has a high watch time, sure. But if you have another, that video can send you to another video, like the higher the watch hours, the more that it indicates that your channel is being watched by so many people. That's the whole mindset that you have to have. If you have 20,000 watch hours, or if you have 20,000 watch hours, that's 20,000 hours of 3 minutes, average view duration. That's 3 hours. I mean, that's 20 hours worth of that, which means that your channel probably is thriving. Again, I don't know. I have to do the math. I'm not doing the math, but just say that. I know my channel only have 2,000, but when you have 20,000, if I 10 times that means that more likely than not, my channel is booming in some cases, right? It may or may not. It just depends, right? But if you continue, it says, boom, top videos. The top video report highlights your most popular videos, right? So let's see. Top video. So this is the top video report. Now, notice how the top video report was the first thing here, but it wasn't the first thing here. The first thing you see here are the key moments for audience retention, which are the things that you need to focus on more than your top videos, which is something that, again, it's not said, but it's something that you can imply based on the fact that YouTube is not slick. They typically tell you everything you need to do, and they do it in the order in which you need to focus on as well, right? So you need to focus on this because this creates these, right? So top videos, you got the top playlist. The top playlist reports. The top playlist report shows you which of your playlists have had the most watch time. It doesn't matter if some of the videos on the playlist are from other channels. You can see playlist data even if you've never uploaded a video. Boom. Right? Top posts, these are actual posts, which you should very much focus on posts as well, creating posts as well, which is something that I need to very much get on top of as well. And top cards, so these are obviously, the cards that you put on the top of your screen if you want people to watch a video, whatever. And then you have the end screen, and then you have the end screen element types, and then you have the audience retention video level. Since the audience retention report shows how well different moments of your videos held viewers' attention. You have to like and dislike, and then you have the end screen element click-through rate or click rate, right? So it tells you all the individual things that you need to focus on, right? All the individual things that you need to focus on. Now, if you go to this little tab right here, measure key moments of your audience attention. It literally tells you, and they even have the graphs on how you can get to it, right? But it literally tells you all the things you need to focus on, right? Boom. As I was saying earlier about the intros and the top moments and the spikes and dips. It literally tells you, okay, well, intros tell you what percentage of your audience still watch your videos. And it says a high intro could mean, so it literally tells you what, if you have a high intro, what that could mean. And it also tells you right here, recommendation to improve your introduction percentage. So it tells you what you can consider, what you should consider doing your videos to potentially improve your percentages, right? So it literally gives you the blueprint. You don't need to go to these gurus. It gives you the blueprint. It gives you the blueprint, or it gives you a blueprint, right? It gives you an idea of the things you need to focus on when it comes to your individual videos and how you should look at your individual videos on the micro, and how your channel should be performing on the macro, right? It goes to top moments. Top moments are moments in your videos where almost no one dropped off while watching. So boom, like I was saying earlier, recommendation to improve your top moments. So boom. So when I was saying earlier that the thing that I'm going to be focusing on is intros, top moments, and spikes, and separating, minusing the dips, I'm using this. I'm going to be using what YouTube is telling me, and I'm going to be using all the resources that YouTube has, but I'm going to focus a lot on what YouTube has been telling me, right? YouTube is literally giving us the blueprint that they pretty much they want us to see, right? The blueprint that they want us to see, and we can take advantage of it if we just do the dang thing, right? We go to the area. So again, go to Google support, go to the YouTube section, click on, grow a YouTube channel, right? Click on, whichever thing that you want to focus on, whether it be well, for individual videos, you need to be clicking on the engagement section, the engagement tab on create your own section, and then learn that, because that's individual videos. If you want to learn how to perform well on your channel, then you would go to the reach tab, right? You would go to the reach tab, which is big. And again, when it comes to understanding revenue, you want to go to the revenue tab. And when it comes to the last portion, which is the audience, you want to understand your audience better and how YouTube is trying to tell you to look at your audience and how you view your audience. You need to go to the audience tab, right? But you take time to really learn it, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. What I'm going to be doing for that. And it says view audience retention by traffic type, which is really interesting. Does it tell you right here? It doesn't tell you right here, right? But it says organic traffic versus paid traffic. These use that results in paid placements and skippable video. Okay, boom. So yeah, you straight. You don't have to focus on that unless you're just. I mean, you can still focus on it because you got organic views, but you know, it's just, again, focus on everything that it says right here. Read it and say, okay, well now, you know, because now that I have a video that 2 days later I can see the analytics. Well, it shows me that this video has a dip, right? And I'm going to use this as an example. Right? So the thing that I've noticed about my channel lately, I've been experimenting with like whether I should have my intro or not. And I have an intro that's about 19 seconds. It's a really dope intro. I'm not gonna lie, it's really dope, but it causes dips, right? And if you see, before, I believe these videos all have the intro on them, or not all of them, but I think these videos minus this reaction video, but all the videos here have the intro to them. Well, this is a live stream. That's not even upload, but still, all these videos have an intro to them minus this and this video. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 videos, right? Now, if you go to them, notice how in the analytics, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. They changed it so much. Notice how in the analytics there is a dip. There's a dip right here, right? There's a dip initially right here. I'm sorry, no, actually, this actually doesn't have, no. Yes, the placement of the intro is completely different as well. I'm sorry, I'm tripping, right? Again, this is how I explain things to myself. But the placement of the intro is the thing that's preventing it to be good. So the first 19 seconds of the video, I was just talking. I was talking, getting into the content. And then the whole idea was I'm going to give them a teaser clip and I'm going to get them an intro and then I'm going to get back into the content, right? But notice, literally when the intro starts, which is right now, if you look at the graph right here, it suddenly stops. Let me move this over here. If you look at the graph right here, it literally is suddenly, like, it has a trajectory right here, and at 19 seconds it's at 68%. Literally the moment the intro started, it dropped down to 53%, right? And then from here, if you look really close, it's a spike. At the end of that, it's a spike, meaning that people was fast forward, that there was a group of people that clicked off, right? So there was a group of people that clicked off because it's at 57 compared to 68. So about 9% of them clicked off, right? I'm sorry, probably, I have no idea that math, right? Right, but about 9% of them either clicked off or they skipped the intro. They just double tapped or they just kind of fast forwarded to get to the point. And you know that people was fast forwarding because the moment the intro stopped, it spiked back up. So my retention spiked back up because people wanted to see. They wanted to see what I was going on about, how things were going, what I had to say. So what that tells me is that maybe the intro, again, this is a hunch, maybe the intro shouldn't be there. But what I decided to do was put the intro in the beginning of the video, put the intro as the first thing in the video, and then from there, so correction, before I did that, I believe my second video, or this video right here, I did the exact same thing where I gave a teaser and then to say, boom, right here. Yep, I gave a little teaser, and then this actually ended up, the first 30 seconds was 60%. 60% of people was here for the first 30 seconds. And literally the moment right after that, boom, look, the intro started. And what happened? Immediately, it's a drastic dip, and I end up getting from 60% to the lowest 48% retention on the dip. That's 12%, right? 12% of a drop off. 12% of people who was watching dropped off. They cut off my video, and the interesting thing about it is, it's not like they cut off the video because it was bad, but they cut off the video because they didn't care about the intro at that point in time. They wanted me to get into the content, and you can tell that because it spiked back up. As you can see, it's a dip, but it spiked back up to 53%. To 53%. Now, you have to ask the question, like, what would have happened if I didn't have the intro there? If I got straight into the content and it was exciting, it would have probably be 60% for the first, it would have been 60% for that particular, for a longer period of time than the dip. The dip made people leave, and the dip made people fast forward. So the dip is not valuable. So now it's like, well, what if I don't put a dip, right? Like, what if, actually, no. I even on this video, I even put the intro in the beginning. I started off the video with the intro. Oh, it hasn't started off. I think it was, which one was it? I think it was this one. Yeah, this Kohei Horikoshi one. I even started the video off with this one. And you can literally, like I started off the video, people literally already was fast forwarding it because they wanted to get to the information. Now you may be saying, well, maybe it's not because of that. Like maybe the intro isn't that long. I'm at 14 seconds right here. I'm at 16. The intro is 19 seconds, y'all. So I'm at 16 seconds, the intro's still going on, and people they cut the video on, they see the intro, and they immediately either click off or they fast forward. So I'm preventing, but the interesting thing about it is, if you look at the graph, it tells me that people are fast forwarding rather than clicking off because it goes down all the way to 51%, but it spikes right back up at 63. It spikes right back up at 63. So people are just fast forwarding past my videos, past my intro. So what that tells me is that I don't need an intro. Well, how has my retention been within the first 30 seconds, right? How has my first 30 seconds retention been without an intro? Well, you can go to almost any video and see, okay, well, the first 30 seconds, this is 60%. Yes, there's a drop, but it's still consistent, right? So that tells me that there are things that I need to work on in that video, of course, as well. But when it comes to the first 30 seconds, it is exactly what it is. Same thing with this, 66%. There's no crazy drop off to under 50% to under 50% or to like dropping down to 40-something% and then going back up. So let's just go to another random video. Let's go to this video right here. So this video got 47%. Now I need to analyze why that is. But the thing, and again, it has a lot of dips and a lot of things as well, which is really interesting. So I need to take time to analyze that. But what that at least tells me is that people want the content. People want the content. So you don't need an intro. You don't need a crazy cool intro that's like, oh man, so awesome, whatever. People want the content. So my plan to make my videos better is to take away the intro. To take away the intro completely because it's not doing anything for me. It's literally making people click off my videos or fast forward it. So no one's even watching it, or it's 60% of people are on my channel or on my video before watching, and then 53% before the intro, and then 53% are after the intro because people are clicking off and people are checking, leaving the video, right? And I would rather it be because it's easier to see if it's me, right? And okay, well, there's a dip because I just had a bad time talking, rather than the intro that's 19 seconds long. It's just like whatever. So I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to stop doing that completely, right? And that's how I'm going to get rid of this. That's how I'm going to get rid of the initial dip that I've had when I've had like interesting first 30 seconds, right? And again, some of these other videos that had like lower percentages, the first 30 seconds were completely different than the others, right? There's no structure necessarily to them, so that could be the reason why, right? Maybe it took me a longer time to explain what the video was about, and people were kind of whatever. Maybe it's how I explained it in the first place that made people like, yo, like what is this video about? I don't even know what this video is necessarily about. And that's exactly what the the top moments talk about, or not top moment, but the introduction talk about. It says the content in the first 30 seconds match the viewer's expectations of the video, thumbnails, and titles. So maybe I didn't do a good enough job to match the expectations of the viewers, match the viewers' expectations that they saw from the thumbnail or the title. So I need to do that within the first 30 seconds. And the quicker you can do that, which is what we found out last night in the other stream with analyzing Mr. Beast, Eric, Dream, and what is his name? Bad Boy something. I don't know his name, but he also does Minecraft. Bad Boy something, right? But when we look at all their videos, the first 15 seconds max. The first 15 seconds, they already explained exactly what the title and the thumbnail implies. They explained it and they got into the content literally in the first 15 seconds. So that's what I'm going to be doing as well. I'm going to be focusing on the first 15, getting the content to the first 15 seconds. That's my plan. This is my structure, how I'm going to structure my videos, right? But the first 15 seconds, the earlier I can do it, the better. Of course, obviously, I'm not going to do whatever, right? But the earlier, the quicker I can do it, the better. But I want the first 15 seconds to be explaining or fulfilling the promise, or letting them know that the video is going to fulfill the promise of the title and the thumbnail immediately, very clearly, right? Very clearly. I'm also going to be using words, like words on the screen to show that, and also some sound effects, which are more, things that, you have to look at. If you look at Mr. Beast videos and you see like, I have a question, but like it always had like the words like, I have a question, and sometimes it like duh, like in the background, like a sound effect, like duh, and then like you kind of like have to like, well, what is the question, right? And then I noticed that they also make sure they have an incentive for the viewer to stay to the end. So I have to find a way to create an incentive to make the viewer stay to the end. So in a Mr. Beast video that I saw on his Beast Reacts channel, he was saying something like, hey, look up, and then he one of his friends, he said, you have 5 hearts above your head. Every time you laugh, you lose a heart, and if you lose all 5 hearts, you get slimed, right? You have to get slimed, right? So it was a reaction video, but it kind of made an incentive for you to watch the end of the video, because you have to see, well, is he going to get slimed? Is he going to lose hearts? How funny is this thing? And he said, well, this is the funniest thing, funniest reaction thing that you're going to ever see. This is funniest the hardest try not to laugh challenge that you will ever do. And, it's more likely that you will lose. So like now there are incentives for people to watch to the end, because they have to feel like, what is the number? Like, what is the end? So I have to find creative ways to make an incentive in the beginning of the video and get it in the first 15 seconds to explain why people should watch until the end. Not just because, hey, there's a bonus tip. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's good incentives. Like, there's a bonus tip. I don't even know if your content is good enough for me to even stay to the first 30 seconds, right? So finding ways to make an incentive for people to stay into the end is really, it's going to be the most trickiest portion of it is. But again, I'm going to document my journey on this. So when I'm going to probably do another live stream eventually. I'm not going to do them. I'm going to do them as often as I can, but not as often. I'm not going to kind of have a schedule necessarily on this. Like I'm not going to do it daily or something like that. I'm going to do it whenever I have something valuable that I want to kind of explain and get my thoughts out on, to myself, for myself. Right. And then kind of break that down. But that's what I'm going to be doing in the first 15 seconds. The top moments. I looked at the one of the videos that I had, which was focused on top moments. Which was this, like, literally okay. Like, even if I look at this video right here, this video has that's crazy. This video has, I didn't even tell me how long it is. The top moment is this. It's 59 minutes. So this video pretty much, and whatever metric they did, however they view top moments, because it seemed like it's different. It seemed like it's different from the how they viewed the continuous segments. And I had to find out what they view. Your viewers watch longer than usual. So I wonder what the drop off rate has to be for it to be considered not a top moment. So you got 57%, and that's 40% at the end. 41%. So that's 16% of a difference. Maybe if it's a drastic drop off, it has to be a drastic drop off, because people, like, around 50% of people was still watching right here, and it's still 57. So I wonder, interesting. This is similar as well, but they made it longer. Interesting. So 50% started, 38% ended. That's crazy, which was like 14. So, that's 14, 13. 13 to 12. So that's interesting. I have really had to look at like how they kind of go about, what criteria, like how far of a drop is considered, not for top moments, right? But yeah, nonetheless, these videos, right? So when it comes to top moments, when it comes to key moments for audience retention, obviously it depends on the type of content that you make. And I guess this is important. It's important, or I can very much go into like what the videos that I'm going to be making, for my channel to try to like grow, I'm going to be trying to build a catalog. I think my thing is like I'm going to be focused more so on building a catalog, and I have to be okay with and I'm going to be okay with, you know, it getting less views, because it's going to be content that I enjoy making, and it's also going to be just dope content. I mean, it's going to be dope content that I know for 1000% fact that people who are interested in the video will give me high retention, will give me high average view duration. So if you look at these videos, right, these are explainer videos on My Hero Academia, right? So notice how these are getting me like ridiculous, like 60%. You see what I'm saying? Like 52% of people who click on the video stay to the end, which is stupid when you think about it. Like, stupid. So out of 1,000 people, 500 people, over 500 people, out of 1,000 people, over 500 people clicked on the video and watched all the way to the end. That is, like, think about it on a grand scale. On a grand scale, if 100,000 people watch my video, 50,000 people out of 100,000 people, oh, I'm sorry, correction, because it's 52%, 52,000 people out of 100,000 people watched my video to the end. The average, they say you should be getting the average view duration. You should be getting the average view duration of close to 50%, right? My average view duration is view percentage is 61%. 61% of the people who watch my video, and the thing about it is that's not even, the metrics aren't even that. It's more impressive to have more people at the end of your video than having a higher view duration. If you get what I'm saying, because if you get, the more people you have at the end of your video indicates how high your average view duration could even go. Right? So like sometimes people drop off within the last minute, but you had a longer video, so the average view duration is still going to be high. But the more people, I don't need to explain it. All I'm saying is this: that's really, it's really impressive. So now the mindset is this: if I continue making videos like this, if I continue making videos that will give me long average view duration, that I can potentially have in a loop for people, right? So like me explaining the series of My Hero Academia and everything in the series of My Hero Academia, every person, every quirk, every person's history, backstory, all that stuff. If I can be consistent, and if I do that and be consistent, then I know for a fact that one, is going to inevitably, like, regardless of what, it's going to have a high average view duration, right? Which is beneficial for things like ads as well. So, you know, and also it's something that I can use as a loop as well. So, because if somebody's interested in quirk marriage, then they're going to be interested in quirk heredity. Because again, these are subtle things in the story of My Hero Academia that people watch, right? Like whatever, right? Like explaining how quirk marriages work, and then explaining the history of quirks, or you know whatever, and explaining quirk factors, right? And explaining, you know, like different like elemental quirks, right? Like emitter type quirks, transformation type quirks, explaining all of these things. The most important thing out of all this, right? Not even the most important thing, really, but the thing that I can use to take for my advantage is, well, actually, yes, the most important thing is that if I'm enjoying the content, that I make, because if I'm enjoying the content that I make, then I'm going to be able to be more consistent with making the content. So I had to like separate myself from the views and say, do I enjoy making content? I'm interested in this. So yes, I want to make content like this. And two, but that's just pretty much it. I just need to be consistent, right? So these are the type of videos. I'm going to focus on creating a catalog. And as I'm creating a catalog, I'm going to be doing trend-worthy content, right? Because all I need is the more people I can get on my channel, right? The more people I can get on my channel, the more people I can slowly see, okay, well, somebody's interested in, you know, the history of quirks, or what an emitter type quirk is. And then they're like, oh, I've always wondered about quirk marriages. Let me watch that video. And they watch that video because, again, it's short, it's 3 minutes long, whatever, because I'm not going to give people more information than, you know, than we actually have, right? I'm not going to have to stretch it to an 8-minute video. But boom, oh shoot, quirk heredity? Oh, okay, well, let me just watch that video as well. Quirk heredity, boom. That's another video they can watch. And it starts a session for people to watch certain videos. So all the content that I'm making are gonna be for session time, for a high session time, and for and videos that I know will create high average view duration. Those are the only two things, right? Again, and notice how those are the only two metrics that are here: average view duration and watch time hours, which AKA is, you know, essentially how many hours of time people watch your videos, session time, right? So that's my strategy, my approach to content that I'm gonna be making evergreen content. Right, and this is actually some things that I've been talking with the homie J Cloud Anime talking. We were actually talking exclusively about this last night about his, like, you know, what he would do, and he was like, I'll make evergreen content, create a backlog of it, and then do trend-worthy content every now and then, or not every now and then, but as often as you can, as often as you desire. Like you want to make a crazy video on, you know, like some news that kind of came up in your niche, make it sure, like, right. But the whole point is building a catalog that would create a high watch time session, because if somebody watches your video and they're interested in that video, then they're going to be inevitably interested in other video. Now, some people may be asking or questioning, well, if your viewers aren't interested in the type of video, in those type of videos, then why would you do that, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. If your viewers, if your subscribers already aren't even interested in that, then why would you do that? Well, you have to look at the market. You have to look at it from an outside perspective. You can't look at it from necessarily you being in here. You can't look at it from necessarily you being you having your audience already. Your audience came to your channel because you made a specific type of content, meaning that if you was making another type of content, there obviously meaning that it's a possibility that there's another audience in your field that looks for something completely different. There are people, you will never discredit the fact that in the anime and manga world, right, in the anime and manga sphere, there are literally people who want to know everything about the series. These are like the most diest of the diest of hard individuals, right? Oh snap, no, my screen went off. Why did my screen go off? Okay, we good. These are the diehard individuals, right? So there are, and one thing we do know for a fact is that because I am a manga YouTuber, one thing we know is that there are tens of thousands of more people who watches the anime, or at least there are multiple times over people who watch the anime over the manga. Most people watch TV shows rather than read. Most people watched Harry Potter than read the books. That's just what it is. Most people seen the movies then read all the books. Same thing with Avatar: The Last Airbender. Most people don't even know there was a comic book about Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? Like if SpongeBob had a comic book or book, you know, even though they do, SpongeBob does have books, right? No one reads the books. Most people watch the shows, right? And then you also have to break it down. Well, most people watch it in dub than subbed, right? So that's neither here nor there. But if you understand that, and you understand the popularity of My Hero Academia, or use your niche as an example, but the popularity of My Hero Academia is crazy in the West. And if the logic says that an astronomical amount of people watches the anime over the manga, over reading the manga, because, you know, even though it's still so many people who read the manga, but most people just would rather watch the anime than read the manga because, one, no one likes reading, right? Let's just keep it real. Most people don't like reading. I'm gonna just keep it honest. But people like to watch that more than that. Then that means that if I tailor my content to the anime, to anime only, then it'll be straight. Like, they'll be cool. Now, from the anime only watchers, or even the manga readers, because the manga readers watch anime content as well, which is, again, something that you can consider as well. If you have the anime only content, but manga readers also would like to watch the anime only content. Because it's content. It's content of stuff they already know. And then the anime only watchers, it's only content that they only know as well. So now you tailor your content towards the demographic that has a higher ceiling. And My Hero Academia has a ridiculously high ceiling because of the popularity that it has, right? So, and I was just making content that I was making, but I wasn't making content for other demographics as well. I was only making spoiler content, theories, and there's a specific demographic of people who cares about spoilers and theories, right? But now I'm trying to change that to make content that's like, okay, well, more evergreen. And the people that enjoyed my theories and my, whatever, the videos that I didn't enjoy, some of the videos that I didn't enjoy making at all, right? They're obviously getting mad, not because I'm making this new content, but because I'm not making the content that they was previously watching as well. So it's like they're not likely to watch the new content because I'm separating the old content that they enjoyed previously, right? So what do you do from here? It's like, okay, well, freaking make the content for the highest demographic of individual people, right? And then you have explainer series, right? Like, if I explain everything in the series of My Hero Academia, that is evergreen. It's never gonna go away. This is something that will never go away ever. And people who are curious about certain things in the story of My Hero Academia can get exactly what they want, and they'll take the entire video. It's not like a how-to video where you just skip past to the one port. So you just skip past until like one little peak. No, it's something that okay, well, I'm interested in what quirks are. Well, what are the history of quirks? Well, I explained the history of quirks. You should check that video out, right? Or you know, I'm interested in what type of quirk types. I explained all the quirk types, so you should check that video out, right? I explained, I'm interested in this person's quirk. Oh, I'm interested in this person's backstory. Well, I explained all that, and you should check that video out, right? So that's the type of content I'm going to be making, explaining videos. The other type of content I'm going to be making is like listicle videos, because I enjoy listicles and ranking videos where I rank certain characters and I do lists of certain characters, because this is also evergreen content as long as I, you know, make the list something that is more evergreen, right? Of course I can say, you know, top 10 future theories that potentially could happen, which isn't evergreen because it could be evergreen. It's fun. It probably can have like views, but the long, you know, it's not, after the series ends in 5 years, it'll not be able to get traction. And then the videos that I make that are evergreen can get traction forever, right? Like that's kind of the whole goal. It's like, if YouTube were to last the next 50 years, I want to be able to say, well, the video that I made today can be effective 50 years ago, as long as My Hero Academia is something that people watch 50 years from now, obviously, right? That's just, it's obvious, right? But if people watch My Hero Academia 50 years from now, they want to see what's ever, they can always come to my channel, my video, and be like, yo, this is what it is, right? And obviously technology might be different, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just using that as an example. So the content I'm going to be making are going to be strictly evergreen content. It's going to be explainer videos, and it's going to be listicle type of videos, just things that I can, discussion videos that are evergreen, right? But like just things that are really interesting, like evergreen. That's my goal, right? And then I use trending topics to kind of bring a large sum of audiences to my channel, and they will only most likely subscribe, not because of the video necessarily, but because most time people don't subscribe off the first time, right? Most of the time. So if I bring them, because I'm going to be very strategic about this as well. On my trending videos, I'm not at all going to be asking people to subscribe, right? No, actually, no. Maybe I do. It just depends. I'm debating. When I think about it now, on my evergreen type of videos, right, I'm gonna probably ask people to just like the video and check out this video, right? And on my trending videos, I might have people like subscribe. I don't know. It just depends. Because I don't want to give too many call to actions, so that's probably what I'll end up doing. One of those two, right? But those are the type of content I'm going to be focused on to get my channel back on the good side of things from dying. Now, that means that I'm going to probably go through a phase where it's going to go like this, and it has to still go down and go up, and I think I'm okay with that. But I have to make sure I'm making content for me. I'm making content that I enjoy, and that is the number one thing. And while I'm also doing that, I want to make sure that the content that I'm making is going to be connected to a catalog of content that I've made in the past, and that I can benefit from my past content as well in the future. So if I be consistent on making top 10s once or twice a week, right, or ranking videos once or twice a week, right, and explaining videos once or twice a week, it just depends on what I feel like talking about at that particular point in time. All right, and then my chapter reviews, you know, because again, I'm not interested in that at all. That's just what it is. I'm not interested in that, right? So, you know, I got my chapter reviews, then like, then after 6 months, right? 6 months, I'm going to have a ridiculously large catalog of content. Not to mention that the more I do something, right? Because one thing that I think, that no one mentions often is that YouTube very much, like, the reason why it's important to be consistent, right, is because that's the only way YouTube can determine what your channel is about. So like, notice people, if you notice, it says like ranked by views 10 out of 10. It's like, well, why did YouTube do this? Why do YouTube want to share how the last 10 videos ranked? It's like, well, because like the last 10 videos indicates how your channel, what your channel is about, and how your channel is performing. So it doesn't just show you, okay, well, this video performed less than, the last 10 videos, but it's like, that indicates, well, what is your channel actually about? It kind of gives you an idea. It should make you think, well, is it because I'm making content that's completely different than the type of content my channel has been trying to, deliver on? Like, am I not delivering on a promise that my channel is kind of like set on? Well, then what does that mean? It's like, well, if the next 10 if your next 10 videos are 10 out of 10, that tells you that your videos that you're making are completely different than the videos, or they're different in either interest or something that your channel is not used to receiving. So YouTube is like, kind of letting you know, like, hey, like you're making content that's different, bro or gal, right? You're making content that's different. You're doing something different, right? Your channel is being identified as something that it's not. Because if it wasn't, then you'll be getting what you usually get. You'll be getting that 5%, 5 out of 10. You'll be getting whatever, and then occasionally that 1. But you're making content that your channel and that your subscribers aren't used to. So are you doing this on purpose? Here, I'm 10 out of 10. I'm just throwing it in your face. If you're doing it on purpose, then listen, okay, you got to keep going. But if you're not, then I would prefer you to do this, because if you don't, because obviously as you're making different type of content, your subscribers are getting used to you making different type of content, and what they're gonna do is they're gonna view your channel as something that you don't even know what it is. They're gonna be like, okay, well, he used to be a theory. He used to be a theory channel, or a discussion channel, or a reaction channel, or a review channel, or whatever channel, right? But now he's making videos top 10s. I'm like, well, I didn't subscribe for top 10s. Not only is he doing top 10s, but he hasn't done a review in like 3 weeks. So like, I'm gonna just not follow his channel. I mean, sure, his videos might be nice, and sure, you have some subscribers that'll stay on the on the grind and on the on your journey, right? But then you have subscribers that's like, well, I mean, I'm not really interested in top 10s. I'm interested in theories. I'm interested in reviews. So I'm gonna just kind of chill off on that right now, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and then you have 6, 7, 8 videos that goes by. And then they're like, well, I want to see what Mangavation's up to. But they don't get notified. They don't get your videos on their homepage. They don't get your videos on your suggested feed. Not because your content isn't good, or that they may not want to check out some of your old videos or something like that, but because YouTube, the way the YouTube system works, because they're chasing the viewer, because YouTube is chasing the viewer, the viewers, how the viewer responds to certain things determines what YouTube puts in their face. So if the viewer hasn't checked out your last 5 videos, your channel to them are going to be dead, which is why the dead channel thing is actually a thing. It's not like, you're just getting views because your video sucks, but more likely than not, it's because you probably did something different. You probably went on a hiatus. You probably was inconsistent, or you was consistently posting content that they didn't like. And then as your thumbnails was coming into their face, they didn't click on it because they didn't want to watch the video. And then the next next 5 thumbnails for your next 5 videos coming in the face, and they're like, and YouTube's like, well, you must not like Mangavation no more. Why is this video must be trash to you? Mangavation, okay, well, I'm all right. Well, I'm just not show you his content. Even if you have post notification turned on, if YouTube will not send out that notification to you, and this has been said on my channel, like, oh, I don't even get notification, and I got post notification bells on. It's because more likely than not, they didn't see the last, you know, couple videos, or they didn't see a certain amount of videos that you posted, even though it was shown to their face, meaning that they're not interested or highly interested in the content that you make at that particular point in time. And then YouTube just kind of like, let me just move this guy down a little bit. Not that your content is trash, but it's just like, you know, it's like I'm only focused on the interest of the viewer, and they're not interested in your content. Let me put somebody else's content in front of their face. This is wasting space. I need all the space filled with content that people are going to watch. I need that to be good. So that's the reason why dead channels exist. That's how you know, that's the science behind why your channel is dying. It's because your viewers are not interacting with your channel, and thus because your viewers are not interacting with your channel, YouTube is forcefully making your channel like shadow banned essentially from that viewer because they're not interacting with your channel. And the YouTube is like, oh, and they might not like your channel no more, so I'm gonna just not show them your content because it's a waste of space, and not just time is money. Videos are money, so I got to be very tactical on the different type of videos that I'm going to show into. I'm going to show this individual. So the top 10 videos right here, this tells me that, okay, well, shoot, if I can get 10 videos, right? 10 videos consistently of the content that I want to do. Let's say I do 10 top 10s. Top 10 strongest characters, favorite characters, weakest characters, least favorite characters, the strongest students, the best characters, the worst characters, the best villains, the best heroes, whatever, all that stuff. Let's say I do 10 of those top 10 videos, right? This is going to be different. Notice how this isn't for your entire channel, but this is for the last 10 videos. So if the next 10 videos, all of them, because it got 600 views, if all my next 10 videos were got the same amount of views, 600, then it's gonna reset. It's gonna recalculate things. If my next video after that gets 1,000 views, it's gonna be number one. Because now YouTube is like, okay, well, your channel is different, and we're gonna go with that. We noticed that the old content that you're making is getting 600 views, but this video got 1,000 views. You should do this, which is, again, it connects to the videos that you did in the past. If I do nothing but top 10s, of course it's gonna be 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, because I haven't done top 10s, and people are gonna be like, well, I didn't subscribe to this. But if after the next 10 videos, then it's different. Then you're not gonna be seeing gray. You're gonna be seeing green, because it's gonna go from 600 to 700. Then that's gonna be number one. It's like, well, I got a 700 number video. Sure, I used to get 2,000, but it's like now I got a 700, but it's 700 from 600. You were getting 600 your last 10, but now you're getting 700. What that says is that, hey, look, there's slightly more people watching. 100 more people watching. Okay, next time you get 750, you get 800, you get 1,000, you get back down to 700, you get 900, you get 1,100. But now it's going off of the 10 videos that you recently did. So you have to be consistent, because then that's the only way that the metrics actually make sense. That's the only way you can actually analyze this. If you're making content that's so different, you're not gonna be able to look at this and be like, okay, I got it. Unless you're like, okay, well, I know that this one type of video that I make always gets like a 1 out of 10. So I'm gonna just, if I double down on that. But you know, like all the other videos is like all the other 9 videos, it's like, you're not gonna be able to truly look at your channel and analyze it. I think, again, I may be incomplete, but I think that I'm not, right? YouTube is pretty much telling you what this tells you, like what your channel is about. Your next 10 videos will dictate what your channel is about. Your next 10 videos will dictate what your channel is about. This is not based on your entire catalog of videos, right? It doesn't say, oh, 10 out of 10, or you got a 10 out of 10 for all the videos you make. No, not at all. It doesn't compare to all the videos you made. It compared to your last 10 videos. So that tells me that YouTube is viewing your content based off of a 10 video span. They're only viewing what your content is about and how your channel performs. They only care about the next 10 videos. The reason why they care about the next 10 videos, because that indicates, it makes it easier for YouTube to figure out what your video or what your channel is about. It lets you, because your channel is based off of your performance, and if your performance is low, then that means you don't know what you're doing, or you're doing something completely different than you usually was doing if your channel was higher. So you're trying to change something. Like again, this focuses on what your channel is about. So you need 10 videos of whatever it is that you decide to do. Whatever it is that you decide to do. If you want to grow your channel from a dead channel, you have to make 10 videos consistently. 10 videos consistently, and that will determine what your channel is about. That will allow YouTube to say what your channel is about. From there, you're able to use the metrics accordingly. You're able to say, well, based on the videos that which is why I'm pushing, you only make videos that you enjoy making, and you allow the followers, you allow the people who see your content as a result of that to come flock to your channel and say, I like the way that they delivered this. This video is good. So you have to make videos that you actually enjoy making, and you have to make them in a way that it's good content. You have to make it to where it's actually good content. You can't just sit in front of a camera and just be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, and you stutter all the time, and you like, yes, you can get that, but you're not going to be able to get those. You can do that, don't get me wrong, but you're not going to be able to get that high ceiling. You just can't expect to get that high ceiling unless you have a really interesting personality or something like that. But you can't just be stuttering like and have bad camera presence, and then you can't do that and actually expect to get the goals that you actually want, which is 100,000 subscribers or 50,000 subscribers, or even if, let's say, you want 1 million subscribers. You have to do certain things differently, right? But the only thing you don't want to do differently is make content that you don't enjoy. So that's why you make content that you enjoy, and let that just be okay. Be aware that be okay and aware that you're not gonna be getting billions. Like you may be getting millions. You never know. But don't set your expectations too high. Just say you want to make content that you enjoy. Let YouTube, make 10 of those, right? Because that would indicate to YouTube, okay, well, now we're resetting. Now we're gonna view your channel based off of what your last 10 videos have been, and your performance of your channel, and whether it's growing or not growing is based off of essentially you and how interested your content is to not only you, but to the people who enjoys your content as well. That's what my opinion on this is. That's what my thoughts on this is. So I need to make, in order to grow my channel, I need to figure out what it is I'm going to make and make 10 of those. I need to make 10 of those types of videos, right? Now, because I'm in the anime and manga space, I'm obviously going to be making more than just that one type of content. I'm going to be making different types of content that can kind of connect together, but I'm going to do it in such a way that it's not so far away from each other. It kind of can connect to each other. So essentially it's like this. If I do an explain this series where I explain everything in My Hero Academia, this is just my content. If I do explain this series where I explain everything in My Hero Academia, and I do a top 10 series where I give, which is essentially an explain, it can very much add the explainer aspect to it, because I need to explain why characters are stronger, faster, better, smarter, dumber, weaker, my favorite, my least favorite, like XYZ. There's an explaining element to it. So I do explaining video. It's kind of like a me taking the explainer aspect of it and putting in a ranking system, right? Ranking which characters are the best, which characters are the strongest, which characters are the fastest, based off of their power, who has the best quirk, who has the strongest quirk, and I need to explain what the quirks are. So from there, I'm explaining what the quirks are, and I can literally have an individual video on every single one of the quirks that I explain in the video. So again, those two connect, even though they're two different styles of videos, right? But I can connect it to an explaining video, which means that this number right here, this right here, this top 10 thing, it'll be completely different than it otherwise would have, mainly because I'm going to be going at it in a very specific direction. So that's what I'm also going to be focusing on as well, making the content that I enjoy, and also making the content that I enjoy. Not only that, but also making it connect to other content that I enjoy. And that way I can get this right here, this watch time hour, I can get that higher, which is AKA watch session. Not just how long people are in a session of your content, right? So I think that's pretty much everything. What else is there? I've talked about my mindset that I'm going to be going on into this. So I think I'm going to, so I talked about my mindset I'm going to be going on into this. I talked about the tactical ways that I'm going to be viewing my channel, right? Which is through YouTube. I'm going to allow YouTube to tell me what I need to focus on instead of me tell myself what to focus on. And I'm using the example for each individual video. I'm going to be only focused on each individual video as by itself, and also seeing how it connects to the overall performance of the channel by looking at the reach tabs and seeing how that works. But the individual videos in themselves will be viewed by this, right? By the engagement tab. And I also broke down how to actually look at how to get the actual answers of like what YouTube is looking for in depth by going to Google support, right? You may have to add some filler to the videos, but it's for a good cause. Quantity will allow you to make quality, I suppose. But like in a way that hooks up people. What do you mean filler? I'm confused. You may have to add some filler to the videos. What do you mean filler? What do you mean filler? Please explain that. Please explain that. Please explain it. But I do appreciate your support. I mean, have you been here? Are you actually one of my subs from my main channel? Are you one of my subs from my main channel? You got to be, right? Yeah, I still got 53 subscribers, so I'm pretty sure you're one of my subs from my main channel. You got to be. Gots to be. But yeah, please explain it, and I'll respond accordingly. But I explained how to even go about looking exactly finding out exactly what YouTube wants you to do for your videos to make it better. YouTube tells us everything. YouTube literally tells us everything we need to know about how to make our videos better, or what we need to look for in our videos, in our channels, to make our videos better, and also in our audience to make it more optimal for them. YouTube literally tells us everything. Literally tells us everything, right? So here, literally here, it says Plot Armor makes manga anime videos too and beats around the bush a lot, but the way in which they do it makes it so the viewers are compelled to still watch. Your content is great, but it needs more exposition. I agree with that, but I don't. I definitely see what you're saying. I just don't want to give content that isn't valuable. Like, I think time is really important. And I think the reason why, and I'm not going to say this is Plot Armors because I don't want to put words in their mouths, but the reason why most people put like a lot of fluff into their content is so that they can get a longer video, so that they can get the ads, right? Most of the time. Sometimes you can't, but I definitely consider that. Just make sure that I have a little bit more exposition in my videos. Sometimes I try to like get straight to the point and like just get straight there, like just get straight to the point. And sometimes it just goes certain ways. But again, I'm gonna be looking at what YouTube tells me. I'm gonna be looking at what YouTube tells me to do. Different tips and things that I should apply to my channel, and I'm also going to be looking at the people who are masters at this. And no shade to Plot Armor, but they're definitely not the masters of this, even though they have success on their channel. But I'm looking towards people who are, who at least have openly exposed. I don't want to guess whether they are, because simply because you have certain videos on their channel that like explodes and certain don't. So what I'm doing is I would rather look at channels that has a grounded position in whatever it is that they do in their field, and every single video they do is popping. And the reason why I want to do that is because if I look at how they format their videos, right? They format their videos in a very similar way, and I make content completely different than Plot Armor. They don't do. I mean, I show my face on the thing, which is completely different. A completely different element. Like, it's a whole, I had to be entertaining myself. I can't just be like, this is whatever. So, because of that, like, I'm going to be looking towards like the higher echelon YouTubers, stealing some of the ideas that they have, applying that to my actual videos, and from there, see how it is. And the thing that's interesting is I've done that before and it has worked. It's just that I just wasn't intentional enough. I wasn't like kind of like trying to get there, right? Trying to like do it and trying to really work on my channel and everything. I was kind of like, I was there, but kind of like teeter-tottering. I was kind of lukewarm. I wasn't hot or cold, saying I'm gonna jump into the fire or jump into the water of ice or whatever, and just be consistent in doing what it is that I was doing. I was kind of like playing around and like, maybe it'll work, or and kind of just let myself out, But now it's like, nah. It's like, nah. I'm definitely gonna do things the way that YouTube is pretty much implying, which is I need to focus way more on creating sessions rather than average, just individual videos performing well. I need to find ways to make that video connect to other videos, and I also need to focus on the intro, the top moments, spikes, and no dips, right? And it literally tells us exactly what different things that we should consider doing with our content that will help us do that. Now you have to study your own content to see, and if you have no videos that are something similar to this, then you very much need to go to channels that do have those type of videos, and that they do, like Mr. Beast, for example. We know for a fact that his retention is ridiculously high, right? To anybody's standards, well, but to his maybe not. So you look at his videos, you look at people who are successful with their videos and see the patterns that they do in their channel. And ultimately, you will you may not get the exact same heights of them because they are in a niche that's completely different from yours, but you will very much, have some form of formula behind your belt that is beneficial. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything on the channel. I'm sorry, on the video. Let me explain everything again real quick. The number one thing that I'm going to be doing to better my channel, to get my channel back from the dead, or from the dying stage, is changing my mentality from caring about the viewers. At this point, I only got 20,000 subscribers, and there are a small percentage of my viewers that actually cares about me, right? Most of the subscribers don't care about me. They care about the content that I make, and if I don't make the content that they want to see, they're not going to watch the video, which makes sense, and they have the right to do that. So what I would rather do is make content that I personally enjoy, and build an audience around that, understanding that there may be limitations, right, to certain things, because I'm not going to make content specifically for others at all, and I'm going to make content for me. The only audience that I need to care about is me and my enjoyment, number one, over anybody. I don't care what it is. So that's the first thing that I'm going to focus on when it comes to building my channel back from the dead and taking it to heights that I've never been able to see in my life. The number two thing that I'm going to be focused on is using the resource of YouTube to tell me exactly what I need to do for my channel to grow. I've explained in this live stream that YouTube literally tells you everything you need to do to grow. It's a multi-billion, it's probably $1 trillion, I don't know. It makes so much money, and what they do is they want to incentivize you making videos by giving you all the answers to the questions that you have about making videos. All you have to do is literally look at the analytics. If you look at the analytics and you notice all the big things, everything that's blatant in your face, all the things that are at the top and on the left, they're the most important. And if you take time to find out what makes those things good tick, right, then you would then succeed. So if you look at, for example, the most important things are the impressions. Oh, I'm good here. The most important things are the impressions, the click-through rate, the views, the views, and the unique viewers, right? Those are the most important things, right? Then you come down here. You should be looking at your traffic source types. So obviously they're putting an emphasis on the traffic source type, meaning that you should that where your traffic comes from matters, right? Impressions. This tells you literally, this funnel literally tells you the process in which your channel should be performing at a high level or a low level, and how you should view it, right? You should be looking at impressions, click-through rate, views, average view duration, and watch time. But if you literally look at it, all the things that are the most important things that you should be focused on are the big ones, and then all the things that are small that are not equally, but that are really important as well, but they're not as important as the big stuff. They're small. So you should be focusing on morally, like the results, the impressions, the views, and the watch time, right? The watch time hours. The reason why you need to focus on the watch time hours, and this is the end, is because the watch time hours indicates viewer sessions, and which is more important than average view duration, right? But it's a product of average view duration. So you can't have viewer sessions, high viewer sessions, if you don't have high average view duration, because if nobody's watching your video for a long period of time, they're not going to want to watch other videos. And if they want to watch other videos, then that number right here is going to be higher. So you need to focus on the amount of views you get. I'm sorry, the amount of impressions you get, the amount of views you get, and the amount of time the amount of things that you can, the amount of videos that people can watch of your own individual channel, which means that you need to structure your channel in a way that your videos are connecting to other videos, right? Which is why series are really big, or doing reactions, because having the only reaction channel, because every single time it's just reaction, or doing the same type of content over and over is something that's big as well, which is done by like Dream and XYZ, stuff like that. He's doing a similar type of content. He makes series out of it, and that builds this right here, which obviously is a product of this, and which is a product, again, it just spirals up, right? But these are the things that YouTube is telling us that we need to focus on. And it's not just in this tab. The most important thing, in my opinion, probably in the engagement tab, because engagement tab focuses only on the individual video. So this is teaching you essentially the things that you need to look for in your video to make your videos better, which are the intro, the top moments, having spikes with no dips. These are the things that you need to focus on. Now, you may be asking, well, how is it possible for me to focus on these things? I have no idea what I'm doing. What do I need to do? First things first, you need to learn how to be resourceful. I'm keeping it a buck. If you're typically asking people for advice or asking people for help on how to grow your YouTube channel, you probably don't even want the actual answers. And I'm keeping it a buck. You have to be resourceful. You have to find answers yourself. And the thing that's good about YouTube is that they actually tell you the answer. If you go to Google support, just go to Google, type in Google's support, right? Go to Google help, and then you go to YouTube. When you go to YouTube, you're going to see this whole little section right here, right? This is going to be focused only on the YouTube help, YouTube support section, right? You're going to literally go to create and grow your YouTube channel, and notice how it literally tells you all these different categories. These are the categories that if you take time to read all these categories and study all these categories from YouTube's eyes, right? These are just from YouTube's eyes. You would then be able to get what YouTube is saying and is wanting you to go to, want you to do to better your channel. Well, now if you want to be more specific, then you would go to obviously analyze performance and with the analytics, and that's would tell you all the things in your analytics, which is, if you want to get a better understanding of all this stuff, you go here. Right? You go here. And from here, you can literally go to engagement tab, which is what I believe, again, to be the most important thing, because your videos are more important than your videos create your channel. So if you understand your videos, which is under the engagement tabs, you understand your channel. Obviously, audience kind of goes into that as well, but we're going to focus on that maybe another time. From here, you go to understanding audience engagement, which is, this is literally every single one of these, little categories, right? Top playlists, and then top posts, and then this is giving you a rundown of all that. But if you go over here to right here, right, measure key moments, or you don't even have to go here, you can just go back here, measure key moments for audience retention, right? This is literally telling you how to measure your key moments for audience retention. It literally breaks down the intros. Well, just like I said, the most important aspect that you need to focus on your channel are intros, the top moments, having spikes with no dips. It literally breaks down what intros are and how you should view intros, which is the first 30 seconds of your videos. So the first 30 seconds of your videos need to be very key. And it tells you what it means when you have a high percentage of intros, and what they recommend you do to improve your intros, which is connecting it to the thumbnails and title, which is a completely different thing. Top moments. It literally tells you recommendations for having a longer period of time, or having a time in your videos where your viewers are watching longer. It tells you different things that you can very much do in considerations that you should put in consideration, essentially, for you to have success on YouTube, and for you to have a successful video. It tells you spikes. Same thing. It tells you what it means for spikes to happen, right? For spikes to occur, right? Which very much connects to how enjoyable your video is, how shareable your video is. You know what I'm saying? Like it's something like that, right? And then dips. You obviously don't want dips, but it tells you exactly what it means, or what it could mean when your channel doesn't has dips. So now, when you have all this information understood, you can go to your analytics and you can look at charts like this and say, oh, this must be a spike. Oh, this must be a dip. Oh, this must be because it's going from this period of time to this period of time, and it's going incline, that must be a top moment, because if this is the moment where the most people was watching my content and it was for a prolonged period of time, so that must be a top moment. Oh, this must be how my intro has been. 39 seconds, 39% of the people who clicked on the video stayed the first 30 seconds. That's not good. Let me work on my intro, right? That's how you look at analytics, guys. That's how you look at analytics. That is how you look. So that is what I'm going to be doing. That's my number 2 thing that I'm going to be focused on. Allowing YouTube to tell me what I need to do to essentially allow YouTube to tell me what I need to do to essentially grow my channel, get my channel back up to its optimal level and surpass my limits in every single way. The third thing that I'm going to be doing is actual content. What type of content I'm going to be making? I'm going to focus more so on creating a catalog of evergreen content of things that I enjoy talking about. Simple. If I don't enjoy talking about it, like number step 1, I'm not going to do it at all. But I am going to focus on the evergreen content, creating a catalog of evergreen content. And the reason why I'm creating a catalog, again, because YouTube is telling me that it's more important to have high watch hours than anything. So if I have the only way you can have higher watch hours is if you have content that connects to others, or content that people can click on after they already watched your previous video. So if you make a video that's similar to the video that they just watched all the way to the end, then they're more inclined to watch the next video. So that's why you have to make content. Doesn't have to be evergreen, but it's be good if it's evergreen, because that means 5 years from now, people can still watch that video and go back to that next video that you posted 5 years ago. So I'm going to be posting evergreen content, right? In hopes to grow my viewer session. I'm just going to be creating a big catalog of content that can be in a loop and put people in a loop essentially of my content, because it's all going to be connected to each other as well. And the fourth thing is I'm going to still be analyzing my own individual videos, again, using YouTube's resource, right? And also other creators, and critiquing different things and taking different things from other creators to learn systems, right? To create a system for my own videos, for creating my own videos. And the process of the planning, the actual shooting, the editing, the post-production, I'm going to be analyzing other YouTube channels, the biggest YouTube channels, the channels that are like Mr. Beast-esque. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be making content like Mr. Beast, but I can take different things from his channel that he does, right? That makes it interesting. Like, for example, Mr. Beast and Eric and Dream and all these great YouTubers who study the analytics higher than anybody, who literally said to public, out public, I study the analytics like crazy. Like, they have so many different people that just does that for them and help them when it comes to that, right? They all do similar things. In the first 15 seconds of the video, Mr. Beast, Eric, Dream, and all of them, they try to get they get exactly they try to let you know that the promise that is made in the title and thumbnail are going to be fulfilled in this video. They explain what the video is going to be about, and they give you an incentive to want to watch until the end. So this is like Mr. Beast saying, hey, if the last person to take his hand off this car gets the car. It's like, well, now you have to stay to the end, that's an incentive to see who gets the car. Or the last person who I tag gets $500,000, which is what his newest video is, which is, literally like, okay, well, now you have to find out, how he gets $500,000. Or when you look at Eric, right? Or Eric, hopefully I'm saying that right. I don't really watch his content like that, but I mean, listen, I study people. I'm going to be studying people who are fantastic, right? But literally, Eric, he literally says, he had a video. His last video was how I lost $500,000, $500 from Mr. Beast. So now, like in the video, in the title and the video, he literally explains, well, here's how I lost $500,000, $500,000. Here's how I lost $500,000. Now you have to stay until the end to find out how he lost $500,000. So they create incentives for people to watch the video until the end. They don't just let it be like, hey, this is what the video is going to be about. Let's go ahead and get into it. No, they say, hey, this is what the video is going to be about. And this little thing right here is the reason why you need to watch all the way to the end, which is something that not too many people do. Right? It's something that like it separates you from being like a really good having good content to having great content, because you not only enforce the title and thumbnail, but you make it an incentive for them to have to watch the video. So that's like that's what I'm. That's an example of that. That's an example of that. And so that's gonna be, you know, my next thing, number 4 thing that I'm gonna be doing to grow my channel. Now and the number 5 thing is I'm gonna be very okay. I'm gonna be like, you know, chill and relaxed and not allow myself to get too pent up, right? Too pent up. And I'm going to be writing my goal, right? Which is probably something that I should have higher on the list. But maybe I move that number 2 and then move everything back. This is something I forgot to mention in the stream. But I'm going to be I'm going to be writing my goals, right? I'm going to be writing like essentially what it is that I want to achieve within a year's time of this, right? How many subscribers do I want? What do I, you know, like exact, that's just pretty much it. Like, what do I want? Is it like how many subscribers do I want? How much money do I want to be making? Because obviously I need to be making a certain amount of money to be able to sustain a lifestyle on YouTube and social media. And like, you know, that's pretty much it. Like, what do I want for my channel? XYZ, like that, right? And from there, then all the steps, and adding into the goals before I end this, adding into the goals, I did hear from a streamer, I forget his name, I watched a stream or a video about like, do you want to become a streamer? And the streamer was saying, well, also write down 3 to 5 different YouTubers that you're going to be looking at their content, and you can like take their content from that you can still aspects of their content and put into your content. So essentially this is like connecting number 4 and 5 together, right? So that's exactly how I plan on bettering or getting my channel from where it is in a dying state to an optimal level. And I also need to, and I feel like that's something that needs to be said as well. It's like you have to define, well, what is an optimal level? And for me, that's 10,000 views average. Because before my channel was dying, I was literally getting, on average, I was getting probably like 6,000 to 9,000 views, right? So my goal was to get 10,000 views. So like to average per video, like, so like not even average, really much minimum. Like every single video gets like 10,000 views minimum, right? Or, you know, 10,000, average, I'll probably say average, more so average, right? That was my goal, and I was almost there, and then things fell over. I lost my ways, and the thing that's bad about it, I wasn't consistent. I wasn't consistent with what it is that I did, the changes that I made. So now that I know what I'm doing, or now that I have a plan and I have it documented in the world, now I can always keep that, and we can get this grind going. All right, but let me go ahead and read the rest of these comments. And I do appreciate you, Leonardo. Yes, you are one of my subscribers. I wonder why you watch. Are you trying to be a YouTuber or something like that? Well, I mean, this doesn't just apply for YouTube. This applies for everything. This applies for anything that you want in life. Like this applies for different trades that you want. Like the trade, like your job will tell you everything you need. Will give you everything you need to actually succeed. You just gotta be resourceful. You do. I've been watching for a while now. It's good to see you're searching for ways to get your channel up. I have some net problems at the moment. Net problems? So I may not answer instantly. I think that you've got it though. I think this thing about the algorithm of YouTube, how it revises your content on your last 10 videos, and the priority to trend MTR, and the priority to trends MTR. I don't know what that word is. Be unto something. It makes a lot of sense. I may need to go now, but it's not like you needed someone to listen anyways. You got this dude. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, all love. I do appreciate. Yeah, I mean, like this isn't, again, I talk as if I'm teaching to myself, so that's the reason why. And I know people are gonna be like, oh, you talking like, you know, that's how I talk to myself whenever I'm like, just like, I literally try to explain something, try to understand it by teaching it to myself. So I literally talk as if I am my own teacher to myself, and I'm the student as well. So I do apologize, but I'm confused on certain things. I have some net problems at the moment. I don't know what that means. Let me know if your thoughts on it. I mean, you can leave a comment, because I'm about to end the stream, so you can leave a comment below, and then I can comment back with you, because it's about 4 o'clock, whatever, and I need to, you know, again, like, you know, because the grind doesn't stop here. The grind does not stop here. But yeah, I'm gonna end this stream. Yeah, but I love you. I thank you for coming through. You appreciate it like very much.